Hi guys, how are you doing? Welcome to our monthly live stream. This time, hopefully, everything's working. We always start these with some sort of technological disaster, but I'm using my camera this time, and hopefully, the sound is okay. So, do let me know if it is all working good. And I'm very excited for this live stream because it is going to be a super fun Disney chat. It's going to be an Ask Me Anything. So, people have been sending in some questions. You can, of course, ask questions, and also, I've got some questions for you so we can all get to know each other better, which is so much fun. So we can have a great Sunday evening. Hi, Berlin. How are you doing? Also, absolutely love the name. I haven't showered for 98 days. Absolutely iconic. Hi, how are you doing? Thank you so much for joining. Hi, Karen, how are you? It is always so wonderful to get to chat, and I thought this would be just a really fun hangout. Normally I kind of try and theme the live stream, so I was like, maybe this one we can all just get to know each other, and it comes off of the back of last weekend. We had our first UK Most Magical Meetup, which was amazing. Can you all hear me? Okay. If anyone in the chat can just say yes or no, that would be amazing because I'm so paranoid. Every time we do this, there's something going wrong. So I'm like, okay, we will just double check, but hopefully everything is all good. Yes, fantastic. This is great news. Berlin has just come back from an epic Disneyland Paris trip for her birthday. So I hopefully we'll get to hear more about that. And also, how is your leg doing? Because I know she suffered a terrible, terrible bruise whilst there, but hopefully you're on the mend, you're not suffering too much. Hi, Alison. It's so lovely to see you. Oh, is it right for everyone, or is it just because I don't know if there's anything I can do, because I think the volume is turned fully up. Let me double check. That just says mute, so hopefully not. But yeah, let me know. I think there's not much I can do about the audio, so hopefully if I just talk louder, does that help? Like, maybe that is what we will do. It'll be perfect. But Alison has been at our most magical meetup with Chris, and it was so wonderful to see them again because I met them last year in Disney World in Animal Kingdom. We had an amazing time together, so it's wonderful to meet up again. Hi, Nastasha and Zaya, how are you doing? I hope I'm pronouncing your names right. If they are not, please let me know. But thank you so much for sending in a question as well. I'm very excited to answer. And you're all the way from the Netherlands, which is absolutely amazing. So thank you so much for joining us. Oh, I love Alison. You're like, I've got the football on them, which is important because I know it is a big match today. So absolutely makes sense. So I thought I would dive into some of the questions. And like I say, if you have any questions as we go along, do put them in the chat. And I'm going to be throwing out some questions to you as well. So I cannot wait to hear your answers. But let's dive into the Ask Me Anything. No holds barred. What's the phrase? No questions unanswered. I've completely forgotten how to do phrases. But you know what I mean. You can ask anything. But I thought a great question to start with was from Sleepan88, and it was, have you been Disney mad since you were a child like me? And the answer is yes. And I think that's partly because where I am a millennial, growing up in the Renaissance, where you had Beauty and the Beast and Aladdin and The Lion King and all of these amazing films, like Disney was absolutely everywhere. And also, I was obsessed with the Disney sing along VHSs. I don't know if anyone remembers them. Thankfully, someone has uploaded them onto YouTube, and they are wonderful. And they were filmed in the Disney parks, mostly in Disneyland in California, I think. And they put the songs up. You had all the different, you had Grim Grimmy Ghost, Walking Right Down the Middle of Main Street, USA, all of the icons. And I used to watch that every morning, like on repeat. It was absolutely insane. And to this day, like, I can still see the images. I distinctly remember seeing a chocolate covered banana, and I just remember thinking, I've never seen one of them before. It's these weird things that stick with you, but I was obsessed with them. And then I also had, and this makes me feel really old, Disney used to have original films based on classic books like Swiss Family, Robinson, and stuff like that. And my grandparents had got them for me. So I very much grew up on Disney. And then I was so lucky that I got to go to Disneyland Paris when I was 5. It was the year it opened, which when they have the anniversary and they're like, it's been open 33 years. And I'm like, no, it hasn't. Don't be stupid. Of course it hasn't. And then I'm like, It has, and it's disturbing when you're like, "I remember this." And, then, a year and a half later, I got to go to Disney World for the first time, and it's one of those amazing things, isn't it? When you go to Disney as a kid, it's like all of the things you've seen on screen come to life. So you get to meet Mickey Mouse, you get to meet all of the characters. I really loved the 90s and Disney, that kind of feel that they had, like the animation, how the parks were. So I love now sometimes when they'll do like a throwback to that because it's absolutely iconic. Hi guys, lovely of you to join us. It's so wonderful. I hope you have a lovely time out. Thank you so much for popping in. And Guy also came to the meetup with his amazing daughter, and it was so wonderful to meet in person. And we're going to dive into the meetup soon. But thank you so much for coming. Hi Chris, it's lovely to see you too. Oh, this is like a nice little family reunion. Love this. Oh, hi, David Sander. How are you doing? I'm loving that you're a big Disney fan. This is absolutely perfect. We need more Disney people in the community because this is the thing, isn't it? Me and Guy always talk about it. It's so nice to have other people that get it and get just excited about these things. And like when you're like, oh my god, Big Fans reopened, and normal people are like, but if you tell a Disney person, they get it. It's amazing. Oh my god, I would love to see David as Rapunzel. If this happens, we need photographs because it's going to be absolutely iconic. Hi Zoe, how are you doing? Oh, I love that we're literally having a little online meetup after the in-person meetup. It's amazing. I hope you and Stuart are both super well. And yes, Berlin, it's amazing, isn't it? That your first visit was 2 years ago. And I think that's the thing. If you're fortunate enough to go as a child, you have that nostalgia for it. And I think so many people grew up loving Disney and always wanting to go. So as an adult, once you get the opportunity, you keep going back because it's just so magical. And there really is something in the air. And I know we probably talk about this a lot, but when you go on other holidays, it's fantastic because it's so nice to experience other cultures, different cuisines, see different parts of the world. But there's nowhere that has the feeling that Disney has. Even other theme parks, when you go to other theme park destinations, they don't have that feeling. And I think that's what we all get addicted to. And literally, it is when they talk about the Disney bubble, it exists. Like you don't hear anything that's happening in the outside world, all your worries melt away, and it's just joy. And I think that's why we become addicted. And that's the thing we always say. It's become a bit of a catchphrase now. Of everyone says they're doing a once in a lifetime trip, and it becomes a very expensive habit. And I'm yet to really meet many people who haven't got the bug and then keep going back because it's so good. But yeah, oh, it's so nice that we're all here and we're all chatting. It's so much fun. Oh, hi, Jamie. Happy birthday. What a wonderful day to be joining us. Thank you so much for popping in. But I hope you've been having a lovely celebration and I hope you've been having a lovely birthday weekend. If it was me, I'd be going, it's the whole weekend, guys, not one day. So happy birthday, and I hope you've been having a wonderful day. And yes, I need to know actually, when was everyone's first Disney trip? Did you go as an adult? Did you get to go as a child? What was your first trip? Kind of how did it get you hooked? Because I think that's the thing, isn't it? Once you go, and it's Disney has that perfect combination of the rides, but also the characters, the shows. It's not just like going to a normal theme park where you go, okay, I've been on some rides and it's been a super fun day. It's all the other stuff that captures you, I think, because like you could go and not go on any ride and have an amazing day. And I think that's what makes Disney so special as well. Because you're like, this is everything. I can't tell you like the one thing that I love. It's like I love all of it combined. It's so good. I've actually just dropped all of my questions on the floor, so bear with me as I could disappear briefly before returning. Oh, okay, still here. I also earlier, my cat likes to sit behind the sofa, so I crouched on the sofa to peek over to see if he was there, and then, like an idiot, stood directly up and banged my head on the shelves. So if I start speaking more gobbledygook than usual, you know what's happened. I've got some sort of concussion, and it's not been good. Oh, amazing. So Chris has said 2019 was his first trip to Disneyland Paris. And apart from the pandemic, being back to Disney every year was an adult age-wise, but a kid at heart. Yes, I think that's the thing, isn't it? That Disney does keep that childlike sense of like wonder and amazement and excitement, which is so nice because it's so easy for that to get beaten out of adults and get like kind of like sunken down with like bills and what's going on. Whereas Disney, you just get to have all this joy and playfulness come back out. Alice's first trip was with her parents in 1984, which is so exciting. Which Disney park was that? Well, I'm assuming it's Disney World, Disneyland. It'd be amazing to hear. Berlin, her first trip was 2 years ago, visited Paris for a week, and on my birthday, I did my first ever day at Disney, and then it becomes an addiction, doesn't it? It's so good, and I love that it's become a tradition now that you go for your birthday. I think birthdays in Disney are the most exciting because it's like the cherry on top. Because being in Disney on your birthday is great, but then when you get, like, the birthday badge, you just genuinely feel so special, and you're like, "This is the best birthday ever." So it's so nice that it becomes a tradition. Let's have a little look. Oh, Alison was her first trip was Disney World. What an amazing place to visit, and I'd love to know if you remember what it was like. 'Cause I recently kind of put up a video from when I went, and I think it was in 1996 or 1997. And it was so great to kind of see how different the parks were, and like seeing those attractions that aren't there anymore, like the Skyway, which was the cable car over Magic Kingdom, and like 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. And it's just so nice when you think back and like have these little moments. You're like, oh, it was so fun back then. Oh, K-Car. I love this username. This is awesome. First trip was when you were 9. Your grandma took your whole family, and it was such a magical experience. That's something that I think is also really nice about Disney, isn't it? Is you get these like generational trips and like love of the parks. And it's so nice to be able to go as a family and, like you said, create these amazing memories together that you'll remember forever. And then people, when they start having kids, they want to take their kids and make more memories. And I think it's so nice. I was saying the other week when I did the magical meetup was that I did briefly work at a Disney store. They did a pop-up Disney store. This was just before they closed all of the Disney stores down. So I think they knew it was coming. So it was only like a 6-month thing. But we had a lady come in and I asked, "Oh, is there anything in particular you're looking for?" And she was looking for something from Snow White because she just had her first grandchild, no, sorry, great grandchild. And she was saying the first film she ever saw in a cinema was Snow White when she was a little girl. So she wanted something for the great grandchild from Snow White. And I was like, how amazing. That's like 4 generations of people that love Disney. And I'm like, that's so special. So that's something I love about Disney. Berlin turned 31 at Disney, which is so exciting, and it's just amazing to think, like, literally this week, you've celebrated your birthday in Disney, which is so awesome. It is the happiest place on earth, right? That it really is. When they made that up, they were not joking. They really knew. And they can like, you know, when it's like, they have to be able to prove this, and I'm like, "They've proven it. Like, this is a true statement." Karen says, "My first trip was Disneyland in California as a kid. Loved it from day one." Yes, and I like Disneyland. I'm obsessed with Disneyland. There is just something extra special there. You really do feel that history. You feel Walt there, and it's just so wonderful, isn't it? So, what an amazing first park to visit. So he says your first trip was in November 2023, Disneyland Paris. We took our daughter, 4 years old. I did the princess dining. I've been going every year since, and now an annual pass holder. The addiction is real, and that's the thing, isn't it? Like you think, oh, this will be a nice thing to do as a family, and then it's like, oh, we found our new love. We're obsessed, and it's so lovely you got to do princess dining together. Like, what an amazing memory for her as well. That's so cute. Jamie says your first trip was at Disneyland Paris at 11. I remember the first ride queuing for Space Mountain and hooked ever since. What an incredible first ride, especially because the Disneyland Paris version of Space Mountain, I think, is the best. Like that launch is incredible. And what a way to start the trip. And it's like immediately coming back, this is the best thing I've ever done. I think that's the thing, it's all it takes. One ride on Space Mountain. Alison says, I only have vague memories, but I remember 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea and having a picture taken in Italy with a mime artist. Yes, it's so great when you have these little memories. I also loved the alien encounter. And I know this gets brought up a lot because it is so iconic and it didn't feel very Disney, but it was incredible as a ride. It was so scary. It was absolutely terrifying. And I'd love if it was brought back. They probably couldn't do it in that capacity. I know I never got to experience it when it was Stitch. And we all know how I feel about Stitch, so maybe it was more horrifying when it was Stitch. But I'd love for them to do something because that's kind of just been kind of empty. I mean, maybe it's not empty, but just not used since they stopped it with Stitch. So I'm like, please bring something back because it was very good. Hi, Charlotte. How are you doing? It's lovely to see you. Oh, that's so kind that you popped in, even though you're at work. And yes, we will hopefully see you at the next one. I hope work goes all well for you. And thank you so much for stopping by. That's so lovely. Berlin says birthdays are the best at Disney. I was born in 1992, so it always feels extra special to go to Disneyland Paris. And that's so true, isn't it? When you have that kind of connection and you're like, we were both born the same year. We both came into existence. It has to happen. It's like you're twins. It's amazing. Alison, you said you got your mum on Big Thunder Mountain telling her it was tame and she didn't speak to me for the rest of the day and she wore a Tinkerbell dress. That's so cute. I also have a story like that. When I was a child, I won some sort of like drawing competition and we won a trip to Disneyland Paris, which is wild. So my family went and we took my nan and we said the exact same thing. We were like, it's a train. It's easy, no worries. And then exact same thing. She was just like, the lies that have been told today. I love that everyone's done this to someone in their family. They're like, no, it's not a problem. Don't worry about it. It's so good. Hi, Victoria. Lovely to see you. I love that we're having a mini reunion. Victoria was also at the meetup, so it was fantastic to meet her. Your first Disney visit was California Disneyland when you were 5, but because you were so young, you have no memories of it, but then went a few times to Disney World as a kid as well. What a dream trip. That's so cool. And I think that's the thing, isn't it? When you are really young, it's hard to remember kind of exactly what happens, but it's almost like you know that you enjoyed it. And then you get to have these other trips and it just builds and builds and builds. And I'm like, oh my God, it's just so exciting. And yeah, I think Disney World as a kid is next level, isn't it? Because it's just so big. I mean, to be fair, at any age, it's so big, so bright, so many things to do. And you're just like, I can't believe this is real. This is real life. This exists. We're here, which is so fun. Jamie says, I totally agree. Love Disney birthdays. My 30s was spent in Disneyland Paris during the 30th, so it felt like the drones were for me. Yes, that's so perfect, isn't it? When you get to both be celebrating 30 years. And like you say, it feels so special because it's just like when they had the big 30 in the sky, you're like, this is me, this is for me. I love that. That's so perfect. Thank you so much, Keiko. I'm obsessed with Ursula. I think she's hysterical. I don't know if you've seen, but on TikTok, I recently saw there's a new Ursula Villains sweatshirt they've released, and I'm like, this is iconic. I also have to say a massive thank you to Victoria, who was so kind when she went to Disney World early this year, and she got me an iconic Disney Villains t-shirt from the new villain show, and I've been wearing it everywhere, and I'm obsessed with it, and it also has Ursula on it. It is purple, it is iconic. So thank you so much, because that was so kind of you. It's absolutely incredible. But I do love that all of us have kind of had like a love for Disney from being young, and then it's translated into going to the parks and then having just a love for it. And I think it's interesting, isn't it? Because you sometimes meet people who are massive Disney movies fans and not fans of the park, or people that love the parks and they can take or leave the films. So it's really interesting to see like how people get into Disney and what their passion is. It's so good. Yes, I love the Victoria, you love them. They're so good. They've also got an Evil Queen sweatshirt that looks like her kind of it's a sweatshirt, but it kind of looks like the top of what her dress is, and it's amazing. It's got a huge collar. It's so good. Hi, Anne-Marie, lovely to see you. It's so exciting. You're going to Disneyland for the first time this fall. I think you're just going to have the best time, and I think it's such a nice time of year to be visiting as well, because depending on when you're going, the Halloween celebrations absolutely incredible. Christmas celebrations absolutely incredible, and also it's just a nice time of year, isn't it? Like fall when you've got like the leaves changing color, it's all a bit more cozy. It's just iconic. So that's so much fun. Oh, that's so kind of you, Victoria. Thank you so much. And like, it's such a joy to and this is the thing, like when I started my magical guides, I was like, hopefully, like maybe some of these tips will help people. And I never really thought about the fact that over time you'd get to really know people and find out about their trips and just them as people and like build an amazing community. And it's been so rewarding and unexpected because I just didn't expect it to happen. So like now the fact that we get to meet up and hang out and do things together is just the absolute best. And like I say, people that aren't Disney people don't get it, but once you find people that get it, you're like, yes, this is amazing. So it's so good. Oh my god, Zoe, you have an Ursula tattoo. We're gonna have to do another meetup because I absolutely need to see this. This is incredible. Hi, Elizabeth. Thank you so much for joining us. It's so fun. Oh, in Shropshire, like, how is the weather here? Overcast all day, so humid, and I'm like, can we decide what we're doing? I don't want a heat wave. I don't want it to be raining. But if we could have a normal summer day, that would be amazing. That would make me very joyful. It's perfect. Oh, it's so exciting that you are going to Disneyland Paris this September, and it'll be the first time. Oh, that's gonna be so exciting. First trips, I think, are always so good, isn't it? Because you kind of have expectations of what to expect, but until you get there, you don't know what it's gonna be like, which is so much fun. Oh, it's so good. Um, Any tips about Disneyland Paris? Oh, this is so much fun. Are you staying in a Disney hotel? Because if you are, I do think extra magic hours gives you such a head start because you can get on rides with such shorter queues. And what I always do is the rides do switch up. It's not the same rides every single day, which can be confusing. So once I get in the park, I open the app up on my phone, see which rides are open, then head to them. And I'd also say if you want to do character meets, do use the new virtual queue system. Berlin had really good luck getting to meet lots of different characters, and it was great to kind of hear that experience of how it was actually booking. And it seemed pretty simple. If you make sure you're there the times that it opens, then you should be absolutely fine. And it's so fun that you get to meet characters with much shorter queues than they used to have. Hi Anna, how are you doing? It's so lovely to see you. Oh, it's so fun. You're going for the last week of September. Do you think there'll be glimpses of Halloween? I think they might have started putting some of the Halloween decorations up because Halloween officially starts the 1st of October, but typically they will kind of start getting the parks a little bit ready in advance. So it'll be amazing if you get to see them. That would be so much fun. And it's nice, isn't it, when you start to see the transition into a new spooky season because I absolutely love it. It's so much fun. And yeah, I think Halloween and Christmas are like the best seasons in all the Disney parks because they just come so alive and they really go for it. They're like, we're doing the theme, we're doing the theme, particularly Christmas, obsessed with Christmas in the Disney parks. It's so good. Belinda says, yes, you've got 3 Princess Pavilion meets, 1 Stitch, 1 Spider-Man, and 1 Mickey. Could have gotten more of a 1 to 2, but the times didn't always work out, which is how incredible is that? Because this is the one thing with Disneyland Paris, I tend to skip over the characters unless I do a character dining meal. Just because the queues were so long. Like the Princess Pavilion used to be like 2-3 hours. So now to know that you don't have to do that, you just have a virtual place in the queue and they'll let you know roughly how long you're gonna have to wait. But in that time you can be doing rides, shows, eating, whatever you want. Is absolutely fantastic. It makes such a difference. And I'm so glad they've started doing this. But yes, great tip. You do have to be on the app and at the exact time they go live, immediately book. So that's the thing. If you get in the app like a couple of minutes before, just so you're ready to go, it should be perfect. Oh, Victoria has a great question. I wanted to ask you what you think about all the new Haunted Mansion merch in the USA. Do you think we'll get the same merchandise here? I really want the new Spirit jersey. It's such an amazing collection, isn't it? Like, there's so many nice pieces, and I'm like, this is wild. Like, how is this happening? The thing that I think is good is that they are starting to in the Disney store have ranges from around the world. So I do think that in the long run, it will come to the Disney store. So I'm hoping we can look online and it will miraculously appear. Sometimes it takes a little bit of a wait, but it is that thing because it used to be, wasn't it? Like if you saw Disney World merch, unless you went to Disney World, there was no way you could get it. Or the same with any parks really. And it was so sad. But now they've started like adding stuff onto the website, which is great. And you don't have to miss out. It's so much fun. Oh, Jamie says, how do you feel about the new virtual queue meets in Paris? I love using Prince of Pavilion in winter just to get out of the cold for 90 minutes. Well, this is perfect because I think that is a great idea actually, because it's like I don't want to be standing outside. I don't want to be in the cold in queues that are kind of some queues are covered, but they're still outdoors. So you're like, I'm very cold. Whereas Prince of Pavilion, you are inside. But yeah, I just can't do the long waits, particularly because of my foot. So I always skip the character meets at Disneyland Paris because I feel like out of the parks I've been to, Disneyland Paris meets are so much longer wait times than anywhere else. And it's interesting actually, like you would imagine like Disney World or something, the queues would be longer, but they're so much shorter. So I always missed out, just didn't do them unless I did a character dining meal. So now I'm excited because it's like, okay, I know I can meet characters and do other stuff in the meantime. And it just feels like you're utilizing time more as well, which I think is great. So absolutely love that. But what does everyone think? Do people like virtual queues or not? I know because some people aren't big fans because there is that worry of if you miss out, then you can't meet the characters. There's no other option. And it is the same with like rides in Disney World when they had virtual queue, that if you didn't get a spot in the virtual queue, you just couldn't ride. So some people really disliked it because of that. And then other people were like, it's brilliant because it just frees up time. I'm not having to stand around in queues. I wish they'd do it for more things. So I think it really falls into two camps. And I'm definitely a pro virtual queue person. It's amazing. Victoria says, I was wondering if they will get the same merchandise in Paris, but it will have Phantom Manor on the back instead. That's great, isn't it? I wonder if they will, because some of it I think is unique to Disney World. Stuff like the green and black striped versions of things, because that's very much the Haunted Mansion costume, not Phantom Manor. But they could definitely do some things that would be a crossover, which would be absolutely amazing. And it would be awesome if you could just buy it and then you're like, brilliant, I don't have to worry. Although interestingly, when I was at Disneyland Paris last time, in it wasn't in shop the oh god, what was the shop called? I think it wasn't Disney Glamour, it was the shop next door, which has the jewelry, and they had like exclusive merchandise. They had Disney World merchandise in there, which I was so surprised at. I was not expecting to see Disney World merchandise in Disneyland Paris. So it's interesting that even in the parks now, you're starting to see a little bit of a crossover. So there is every chance that could happen. Yes, I have a show for 98 days. I'm obsessed with saying that. I very much love this username. Pro virtual queue. So yeah, it just makes things a bit speedier. That's the thing. I'm like anything to be speedy. As we can all tell, I'm probably not very patient. I probably should work on that. But I'm like, no, I can't do the patience. I'm going to answer another question. Um, so Nastasia and Zaya from the Netherlands, who were here, so hopefully they're still here. They had a great question on how often do I visit Disneyland Paris, and also how and why did I become vegan? So Disneyland Paris, I've tried to get there at least a few times a year. One, because I think it's nice to do the different seasons, because every time you visit at a different time of year, it's a slightly different experience, which I think is really, really nice. And there's different things on, and there's pros and cons to it, because Disneyland Paris, stuff like shows will go on hiatus, or sometimes restaurants will be shut, whereas parks like Disney World things tend to be open year round unless they need maintenance or something like that. So every time you go to Disneyland Paris, there's different things happening, because there might be a show that wasn't on your last trip that's now back. There's restaurants that have reopened and stuff like that. So it's always really, really nice. And the weather makes such a big difference. If there's a season happening, that makes such a big difference. So I try and go at least a few times a year. And actually, there's been talk of, let me know if this is something people will be interested, but after our Most Magical meetup in the UK, there was talk about possibly doing a meetup in Disneyland Paris. So it would be really flexible. So it would kind of be like setting, these are the dates that it will happen, and then people can book to stay in whichever hotels they like for as many or as long, like as few or as long days they want. They can totally customize the trip for themselves. And then whilst we're there, we'll be able to meet up. And again, it's totally flexible. So if people just want to meet up for a few rides in the morning and then do their own thing, they totally can. If they want to hang around more, they absolutely can. So I think that could be really, really fun, because where better to do a Disney meetup than in a Disney park? And last year we got to do a meetup in Disney World, and it was so much fun. And in fact, Sarah, if you saw the vlog series when we went to Ogre's Cantina, Sarah was in the vlog series, and she actually flew over to London to come to the meetup, which was absolutely wild. So it was so nice to see her again. So yeah, I think that would be something really fun to do in the future, like proper Disney meetup, and give people lots of notice in advance so that they can get good prices, stuff like that. And I think that'd be really, really fun. It'll be so good. Oh, this is a great point. Full appreciation for single rider, especially Ratatouille ride in Paris, which, yeah, I love single rider. I think it just helps so, so much, doesn't it? That it can cut down the queue times, and it's really good if you're a solo traveler, which is fantastic. I'm surprised Disney World don't have more single rider queues, but Disneyland Paris do it so well. There's quite a few rides that have it, which is fantastic. And it's just like so, so handy. Yes, Berlin, you'd be up for a Disneyland Paris meetup. Zoe would like a Disneyland Paris meetup. I think it'll be so much fun. And I think, like I say, having it flexible so people can do whatever they fancy, what they're most comfortable with. They can be there as long or as short as they like. I think it'll be so much fun. And the other question was, how and why did I become vegan? So I went vegan in 2019, and it was one of those things that I'd gone vegetarian first because I've always loved animals and obsessed with animals. Like, it's actually ridiculous. There's not an animal that I don't like. And then it just over time just was like, oh, I felt uncomfortable because I would say I love animals, and then I was like, I'm still eating them, and it just started to make me feel uncomfortable. It wasn't one of those things like normally when you're just eating a meal, you're not thinking, but I started to think. The brain kicked in, and I was like, oh, I'm starting to feel uncomfortable. So I went vegetarian first, and I never thought I was going to go vegan because I was always like, oh, it'd be too difficult. That feels too extreme. And I remember distinctly the day before I went vegan saying I would never go vegan. But interestingly, I was then reading a book called Eating, not Eating. Is it called Eating? Yeah, I think it's called Eating Animals, and it was about a guy. It's a non-fiction book, and it was about a bloke who himself had been vegetarian on and off throughout his life, and he was having a baby though, and he was like, oh my god, like, what's the best diet for the baby? What would be the best for it, like, health wise? Like, how would he feel ethically about how we would raise the baby? So he started doing a deep dive into like visiting farms and seeing how animals were raised and stuff like that. And reading that book, it was really interesting because it's one of the only times in my life where I've had like such a strong reaction. It was literally like a light switch going off, and I just immediately stopped eating animal products. And what's interesting, I think because it was such a profound like light switch moment, I've never kind of had any cravings or anything because it was just like my brain went from eating animal products to they're not food for me anymore, and it's just never been a thing. So I've been really lucky because I think it can be difficult when you decide to do it, but it's trying to work out what are good alternatives, or like, I really like eating this, what can I replace it with? I think that could be much harder, especially when you are like craving something. That's really difficult. So I was really lucky that's never ever happened. And I just think it's really funny that I was like, I could be vegan, and then the next day I turned a page and read something. I was like, oh my god, it's happened. It was like a lightning bolt. And but it's amazing because it's been so much easier than I thought it would be. And especially Disney and Disneyland Paris particularly, since like 2022 when they started adding options, it's so much easier now. Because pretty much every Disney restaurant in Disneyland Paris have vegan options. And when you go, you know there's more than enough for you to choose from, and then it's just deciding which options you like the most, which is fantastic. And it's also nice that if you're visiting with people who aren't vegan, you can go places because there's something for everyone, and it's not that thing of like, we've only got 2 restaurants that we can eat in. It's so much easier. So yeah, it's just so wonderful, and it's so nice as well now to meet lots of other fellow Disney vegans, which is so lovely. For our meetup, we went to Mildred's in London, which is an amazing vegan restaurant. I'm obsessed with Mildred's. Literally every time I go to London, I go to Mildred's. It's ridiculous, but the food is so good. It's incredible. Yes, Berlin, you totally say that, you wish there were more single rider queues. Yeah, because it's just so good. Hi, Sarah! It's so lovely to see you. I don't know if you heard us. We were talking about how I'd met you in Disney World and you came to the meetup, and it was so wonderful. But yes, it was so nice. Everyone was so lovely. Everyone gelled together so well. It was just the best day. And yes, it would be so fun to meet up in Disneyland Paris. Oh, it's so exciting. And yes, Walt's Potato Main is wonderful. That's the thing, isn't it? There's some really creative vegan dishes in Disneyland Paris, which I think is great. And what I like is that there's a good mixture of faux meat products and ones that don't have faux meat in, because some people are like, I don't like that, or it's too realistic. So it's really nice that you've got these like really nice options that don't have foam meat in it, and they're really creative. And I'm like, I think it's great. They've got like a really good balance. And there's lots of different types of cuisine as well. Because sometimes when you go to theme parks, like say you go to a UK theme park, it's all very much fast food. And if you don't want like burgers, pizzas, hot dogs, there's really nothing for you. So like, it's nice in Disneyland Paris. They have such a wide range of different cuisines for everyone. And I'm like, I think it's impressive. I do think the food quality could be better in Disneyland Paris. Like, compared to other Disney parks, I don't think the quality is great, but especially for the price, like the heritage dining meals are some of the most expensive character dining meals in the world. And I'm like, guys, I think we could either lower the price of it or improve the quality of it. But I think, once you know where to eat, that's the key, and then you're set. It's perfect. Oh, Victoria said you've missed Kit Kat Chunkies. That's so true. Yes, because the vegan Kit Kat is amazing, but a chunky version would be more amazing. It's so true. The temporary happiness I get from eating it isn't worth the suffering the animal has to go through. And I think that's what it comes down to, isn't it? You suddenly have that connect, and you're like, oh no, like I can't do this anymore. It's so difficult. Hi, Tori. Lovely to see you. Thank you so much for joining us. It's so lovely for your first time in the chat. And yeah, these are always so much fun. It's so great to get to interact live, and I love it. So thank you so much for joining us. Oh, NW, thank you so much. Amazing how you became vegan. So similar. Thanks for your tips and videos. We made a list for our next trip to Disneyland Paris, but there are so many delicious options. And I think that's the great thing now, isn't there? There's actually options, and you have to narrow down when you're going to eat. And that's like such a joy to have, because you're like, what am I going to do? This is the problem I have in Disney World is there's like 200 restaurants in Disney World, and most of them have vegan options. So trying to plan where to eat is a nightmare, because you're like, do I go to the places that I know I love the meal? Do I try new things? How do I narrow it down? Which is fantastic. It's so what a great problem to have. Jamie says, do you ever find being vegan you can't be as spontaneous in a park with what to choose from for dinner or snacks, or do you find it's labelled well and easy to confirm, particularly with sweet treats? This is such a good point, because when it comes to sweet treats in Disneyland Paris particular, there's very few vegan sweet treats. So with that, you do feel like you miss out a bit. There is a cookie you can get. There's some Ben and Jerry's vegan ice cream, and like bits and bobs that are vegan, but that is a difficulty, because you see all of these other, especially like really nice, like Mickey shaped things, and you don't get to have that. The other parks are a bit better for having a few more sweet treats, but I would say that's where you miss out. Otherwise, in all the restaurants, it's labeled vegan, so it's super easy to find, but the trees are lacking. I would like some more trees, which would be amazing. So yeah, stuff like that, I think you do miss out on. But when it comes to the restaurants, like you could literally kind of walk into any of it, as long as they're like a Disney restaurant, and they will have options for you, which is really good. So you can kind of just go, oh, I fancy eating that. Although I do think, because I'm a planner, I would I'd find it really hard just to walk into a restaurant, because I'm like, I need to know if people like this restaurant. Is the food good? What's the quality like? And I'm like this with everything, like restaurants, hotels. Love TripAdvisor. I love to hear what the people are thinking. And I also think what's good is when you go on TripAdvisor and stuff like that, you do get a sense of what the place is like, because oftentimes when you hear like a negative review, sometimes you'll pick up that actually it's either a very specific to them experience, or perhaps they had a different expectation. And then you can go, oh, okay, I get that they had a bad experience, and it's good that they've highlighted it, but I don't think that's a general thing that will happen. Whereas, sometimes if you just see a star rating, you don't know. So I love a review site. I won't go anywhere without knowing. I am obsessed. It's so good. But yeah, it was interesting. We had a few different people ask about what it's like to be vegan in the parks. So I hope this is kind of giving you a little glimpse. And if you do have any questions, do ask. Karen for Paws, which great name, and Paws like animal paws. It's very cute. Said favorite character dining meal, and this is really interesting because in Disneyland Paris, I haven't done a lot of them, simply because of the price versus what the vegan options are. So I would actually say this is one place where you do miss out, because somewhere like Royal Banquet, for example, €100 for a buffet is really expensive. Like I say, Disneyland Paris Paris dining meals are the most expensive in the world, which is crazy. And the downside is the vegan options on offer don't match the price tag. And to be fair, I don't think any of the options match the price tag. And part of the payment is because you're meeting the characters. But I think the vegan options on offer are nowhere near the amount of options that you get, and the kind of ingredients would match up to that price tag. So it's put me off going. And I do really want to go. And it's like some time I'll just have to accept it and just go, that's how much it costs. Just go with it. So I'd like to experience more, because auberge a few times and I absolutely love it. I think it's a really great character dining meal. I've had great interaction with the princesses, really like the food, love the decor. I'd like to experience more of Disneyland Paris. In Disney World, I love Topolino's Terrace. I think the food is amazing. The fact that it's the restaurant's on the top floor of the Riviera Resort, you get amazing views over Disney World. This is a weird thing to point out, but the restaurant is also very spacious. So the tables aren't all like cramped, so it's easy for the characters to move around and interact with everyone, and you don't have rushed interactions. And I definitely think that's like one of my favorite. I also loved Tusker House. It was my first time visiting on my last trip. The food was unreal. Everyone always talks about how good the food is at like Boma, and you get a lot of very similar dishes at Tusker House. So if you don't want to have to take a trip out to a hotel to eat, definitely go to Tusker House. And the character interactions were so fun. I love that they're in their safari outfits. I think that's so, so, so cute. And in Disneyland, I only did Goofy Kitchen, which the character meets were fantastic. The food was great. The service wasn't great. And I do find when people talk about Goofy Kitchen, one of those three elements is normally lacking, and it just depends on the day which one it is. So I think I was really lucky. If anything's going to be not so good, I'd rather it be the service. And but what I do like about Disneyland is they do themed character dining meals. So for the Christmas season, they have like amazing Christmas costumes on. They're doing a Christmas Carol themed one that Chris is going to go to when he goes to Disneyland later this year, which looks amazing. The Goofy, who's like the ghost of Christmas past, iconic. Um, so I'd love to experience more of them as well, because I love the idea of a themed character dining meal. I was actually thinking about this the other day. Like, do you prefer if you go to a character dining meal, you know it's going to be the same all year round, so no matter when you visit, you're going to have the same experience, or do you like when they do themed ones to Halloween or Christmas or things like that? Because some parks, like Disneyland, really goes all out with that. And other parks tend to stick to you get the same experience all year round, so you don't feel like you're missing out. So I'd love to know what you think, because I think I do like the theming, because I'm like, that's so cute that it's something unique and different and specific for that time of year, which is so fun. Jamie says, Topolino's is your favourite character dining meet you've ever done, apart from Inventions Brunch. I miss those Sundays at Disneyland Paris. Yes, everyone talks about how amazing Inventions was, and I never got to go. And it just sounds iconic. So it's such a shame that it went. But I love Topolino's. It's great, isn't it? It's just so much fun. I love their costumes as well, where they're all like artists. I think that's so great. I also love that in the shop at the Riviera Resort, you can get them in those costumes, the plushes, and I'm like, it's too cute. It's amazing. Berlin said she loved the idea of themed character dining meals. Karen also liked themed ones. Yeah, I think it's just so fun, isn't it? Because it brings like a little something extra, a little something different, and it totally makes you feel like you're there during a season, which I think is so much fun. Anne Marie says Disneyland is doing Halloween Clarabelles. That's gonna be so cute. And I love that Clarabelle is featured so much in Disneyland, because she doesn't really get much attention anywhere else. But I love that they're like, "Oh no, we are going with it." And she is an icon. She needs to be more places. And yeah, it's just so, so good. I love her. She's just great. She's an underappreciated Disney character, which is so fun. Oh, this is a really good question actually from Holly Loves Disney. So, hi Holly, thank you for this. And she's talking about solo trips, and she asked, "Do you ever feel lonely going on your own or get upset?" And I think this is a great question, because I have always loved solo travel. So I've been solo traveling around the US and Europe since I was 18. And it's my favourite way to travel. I absolutely love it. And actually, solo trips to Disney are my favourite way to visit Disney. And just having that freedom to do whatever you want, whenever you want, and that flexibility to, like, if you want to go on It's a Small World 5 times in a row, you can. Whereas if you're with other people, they're like, can we call it? Or whatever you like, you can really indulge in. And I think that is what's really good about Disney, is that whatever way you visit is very different, and they all have like a really nice and unique experience. So when you get to visit with other people, it's really nice, because you get to share those moments together and make those memories together. But sometimes you might compromise on some things, whereas if you're solo, you get to do whatever you want whenever you want, but then you don't have the memories with other people. But I think what's interesting, what I didn't realize until I started doing this, is that I love doing solo travel. So when I was going to Disney, it was always something I wanted to do and loved the experience. However, at Disney, there's a lot of people that visit solo who would never normally do solo travel. It's not something they're particularly into, but they want to be able to visit Disney, but other people maybe don't have the time or the money or just the love of Disney to go with them. And I actually think that's amazing that people go out of their comfort zone and do something they would never normally do because they don't want to miss out. And I was so impressed with that because I had only ever met solo travelers that had gone traveling solo because they loved it. And I was like, oh wow, there's this whole group of people who are doing it just because they want to be brave, take the leap, and not miss out. And that's been so, so wonderful because it's nice to then be able to also kind of give tips and advice to people who maybe it's their first time solo traveling ever and what it will be like and stuff like that. So yeah, I absolutely love it. I never ever get sad. Interestingly, sometimes you'll see like families, they're all rowing, they're arguing, and I'm like, yeah, I'm glad I'm on a solo trip. So yeah, I'm very lucky, but it's also because I do love solo travel. So it comes very naturally to me. But I do applaud people that are like, I'm not going to miss out. I'm going to go have the best experience. And oftentimes, I think people come back and they feel really confident because they've managed to do it. And they're also like, oh my God, I love doing this because it is that freedom, which is great. Jamie wants to meet Clara Bell so much. She is so cool, isn't she? Karen says, love the Nightmare Before Christmas change at Haunted Mansion for Christmas. So, so true. Like, I was nervous because I was like, I've seen Nightmare Before Christmas. I always want to call it Nightmare on Elm Street, which I know is very different. And I like it. However, I'm not like the biggest fan. You know, like people who really, really love it and have like the amazing costumes and stuff like that. And it's one of those films that I've watched and it's fine, but it's not like my top favorite. So I was like, what's it going to be like? Obsessed. I never thought that like Haunted Mansion could be improved, but it really is amazing. It doesn't take away from Haunted Mansion at all. It really does benefit it. And I'm with you. It's so incredible. So if anyone ever gets the opportunity to experience it, definitely do because it is remarkable. And I was like, I need to go on this as many times as I can before I leave because it's so, so, so good. Hi, Nancy. Thank you so much for joining us from Seattle. What is the weather like? I'd love to know. I know some parts of the US are currently having a massive heat wave. I think it's more towards like the south. I hope you are doing well, and it's lovely for you to join us from all the way over in the US. It's interesting. The past couple of days, I've been doing a course, but it's been streaming out of the US, so it's been starting 5 p.m. for me and finishing at 1 a.m. So it's been a lot of long days and late nights, but it was such a fab course, so it was well worth it. Alison says, magical day, our ladies have just won Euro 2025 and I now have your full attention. Well, that is very exciting because I did know that there was a match going on. And but I'm one of these people, my dad loves all sport. He's like an encyclopedia, he knows everything. It's crazy. So I do hear about what's going on in the world of sport, even though I don't follow it myself. But what a great day that they have won. The Lionesses have done it, which is absolutely incredible. And I love it because I do like that now people, because it always used to be football and women's football, but I do like that now a lot of people are going women's football and men's football. And I'm like, yes, we're subtly making the change. It's awesome. Anna says you were only solo once and it was great. It's very different when you go with kids and a partner. And I think that's the thing, isn't it? Like you get such nice, unique experiences no matter how you visit. So if you go with your kids and your partner, it's one type of experience. If you go with a group of friends, it's a different type. If you go with extended family, it's different. If you do solo, it's different. And I think that's really, really great because like I don't know how it works that you're going to the same destination, but you get a completely different experience. And I think that's really, really cool. And yeah, I think Disney it literally is just magical. There's no other explanation. It has to be magic. Tori says it was your first solo trip to Disneyland Paris in May, and I'm so excited to go back again. And yes, it's just so much fun, isn't it? And I think it's the thing. Once you take the leap and you go, and you're like, oh my god, this was awesome. It's so fun. And I also think Disney is perfect for solo travelers because it's super, super safe. Everything is super accessible and easy to get around. So I always say to people, if you're curious about doing solo travel in other destinations, Disney's a really good first trip because you get to get a taste of it, see how you feel about traveling on your own, but also you know that you've got that safety, you've got that comfort, and just everything in Disney is so joyful and uplifting. And also because there's so much to see and do, you don't really have time to think about like being on your own because you're just like busy all the time. So again, I think that's another really great way to kind of dip your toe in and see if you like solo travel, which is so much fun. Anne-Marie says, "It's 95 here in Florida, real feel 108." That is wild. Are you even gonna step outside? I wouldn't. I'd shut up shop. I'm staying indoors. That is insane temperatures. I'm so, so sorry to hear that. That is very intense. I'd be like, "Absolutely not. Absolutely not." And I do find I'd love to hear what you think. It does feel like every year now, Florida is getting hotter and hotter. I remember when we were there last September, me, Alison, and Chris, I was saying this the other day, every 15 minutes, one of us would be like, "It's so hot." And I love the way we had to just keep checking in that everyone else realised it was hot. And it was definitely the hottest I've ever experienced, Florida. And I was just like, "This is intense." So I'd love to know if you also find that. Oh, this is so exciting. Going to Disney World in March and staying off-site. Any recommendations of getting from Disney Springs to Magic Kingdom? Love your content, by the way. Thank you so, so, so much. So what's interesting is Disney do make it difficult to get from Disney Springs to Magic Kingdom, just because at Disney Springs you have the free parking and they just want to dissuade people from parking there and going to the park. So the best option if you're at Disney Springs is to hop on the first bus that goes to any resort, and then from there you will be able to get a bus to the parks, which is a shame. It is a bit of a long-winded way to get there, but that is kind of how they do it. Also, it's worth noting though that the parks to the the buses to the hotels don't start until later in the day, and again, that's to dissuade people from parking at like 8 o'clock in the morning at Disney Springs and then getting to a hotel and getting to the parks. So they've done all these little loopholes to dissuade that. But if you're going to be in Disney Springs, you can just get on a bus to any resort and then get a bus from there. And I would just see whichever bus is turning up soonest and get straight on that and then get to Magic Kingdom, which would be amazing. And yeah, Anne-Marie, that's a great option. Taking a bus from Disney Springs to the Contemporary Resort and then walking to Magic Kingdom is fantastic, because actually that's going to be a really, really quick way to get there rather than just going to like All Star Music, which is a completely wrong direction. So that is a really, really good option. Yes, you're saying if the summer feels especially hot, and yeah, it's just crazy, isn't it? Because Florida is always known as a really hot destination. So now when it's getting hotter and hotter, it's just like, thank God there's aircon, because it literally couldn't cope. Literally could not cope. Joey says, random thought, but when do you think we'll get a Frozen update for Disneyland Paris on opening day? And do you think there'll be hotel deals for it? This is great. And this is such a hot topic, isn't it, in the Disney community, which is why I love that we can do this. Because when, like, sometimes, like, my dad would talk about sport, and I thought, well, I've had enough of that. I'm going to talk to him about Disney. And he's just going to have to listen. And he doesn't get, he's not interested in when it might be opening. He has no idea. He has no thoughts. I'm like, you're not a very good company. So this is great. And I think what's interesting, because I was actually talking to Chris about this the other day. A lot of people have been saying it's going to open in January. Now, when I went last time and I went on parachute drop, I did have a glimpse into it, and there still was no road or anything like that. And I was like, oh, I cannot imagine it being ready for January, just because once everything's built, they have to do months and months of testing the rides. So everything would have to be finished within the next month or so for that to even be possible. So I don't think it will open this January. Um, I also think if it was opening this January, they would have announced it by now, because they will be wanting to drive sales up, because January is a quiet time of year. So if it was going to be opening, we would know about it, because they would be pushing that hard, because I think they'll call it a special deal to kind of be like, oh my God, come visit in for Frozen. I don't think it will be particularly cheap. I think the prices are going to go up probably quite a lot when Frozen opens. But the interesting thing is, bookings for April 2026 till March 2027 are going live the 2nd of September. And I am wondering if just before that they might give us an update, because if people are going to be booking for next year, a lot of people are holding off until they have a date. So if they want to maximize the amount of bookings they get when they launch the new bookings for 26, 27, they'll need to give like a time frame at least. So hopefully soon. And obviously also around that time, the end of August, we've got D23. So we might get a date then, and it would coincide. So that's what I'm hoping for, because I think they will want to drum up lots of excitement and be like, this is when it's opening. You need to come and book a trip now. I think because we haven't got those details yet, it's probably not going to be like super, super soon. I don't think it will be January, particularly because we know like Disneyland Paris are famous for like slow building, and it's also I was speaking to someone who was French, and they were saying one of the problems is there's a lot of bureaucracy in France. So if one little thing needs to be changed, the paperwork has to go to the like council, it has to go through all of these stages, and it delays things. So I'd be very surprised if it opened this January, but it should be coming sometime next year. I'd It'd be interesting if they opened it in spring or summer because it doesn't feel very frozen. But then they could capitalize on the school holidays, or they might just decide to open it later in the year so it would feel more like the theme. But does anyone else have any guess? What do you think? How do you all feel? Do you think it will be earlier in 2026, later in 2026? I'd love to know what everyone thinks. Alison says, I remember it well, and yet I still have booked for September 2026. And that's the thing, isn't it? September's such an amazing time to visit because it's quieter, the prices are great. But yeah, the weather is intense. It is a lot. And also all the Halloween celebrations, like absolutely love it. It's so good. Alison says, I think January 2027 and it will give that frozen feel because it's winter. I agree. I actually do think there is a chance it won't open till 2027 because when we had D23 last year, I thought they were going to give us a season because realistically, if it was going to open in 2026, they should have by then known, is it going to be winter, spring, summer, or autumn? And when they just carried on with the vague 2026, and we've got to this point and they're still saying it's just 2026, I'm like, that feels like it's a long way away. So I think it's most likely going to be late 2026 or even 2027. But hopefully I'm wrong. I did see someone put out today to all of their followers that Lion King Land was going to open in 2027, and I was like, I don't even think they would have started construction in 2027. Like, I don't know how old I will be. I don't know what lifetime it will open in. But it would be amazing if it did open in maybe like 2030, maybe to rival Universal coming to the UK, which is supposed to open in 2030. That would be really, really good. So hopefully that might happen, but I'd love to know what you think about that as well. Is that going to be coming sooner rather than later? Do you think it will take as long as Frozen to build, or do you think it might be a bit speedier? I think it's gonna be great because it's gonna be like a Splash Mountain type ride, the theme to Lion King, which is gonna be super, super fun. I'm very interested to see what they do with the water effects in winter, because when it's -5, nobody wants to be getting wet. So I don't know if they'll tone them down so you don't get wet in summer. When it's super hot, they'll put them up. I think that would be so fun. So I'm very excited to see how that goes. But yeah, I love all the estimates, like everyone's guessing. But this is the great thing, isn't it? Once you have other Disney fans, you can talk about these things because other people don't get it. It's not a thing. Okay, we've got some more amazing questions. Oh, this is great because this taps into one of my favorite things as well. P Nev, who I think is called Penelope, which if you're not, I'm very sorry, and I've just given you a name. I do apologize. But if you could teleport to a Disney park for a day, where would you go and what would you do? Teleportation is one of the things that I feel like we need to immediately have. It's the thing I feel most cheated out. You know, like when you were a kid and like, well, maybe you're not as old as me, but like you had the Jetsons, and I was like, that's what the year 2000 will look like, flying car, and it never happened. I really wish we had teleportation because if we could just go like this and then we're in like Disney, it would be amazing. I think it's hard at the moment. I would love to teleport to Disneyland to see the 70th anniversary celebrations. I really want to see the Vault animatronic in person. I've seen some videos. It's a choice. The face is a choice. It's a face. It might not be Walt Disney's face, but it is a face. But I have heard that in person it looks much more like him. So I'd love to see that. But I just think the 70th anniversary looks great. And I love Disneyland. I'm desperate to get back. But I also think if I could teleport, I'd love to go to Tokyo Disney Sea. because it just looks next level incredible. Just looks like the most amazing Disney park. And can you imagine if we could teleport, just going, oh, I'll just go to Tokyo Disney Sea for the day and then pop back home and sleep on my own bed. And then the next day I'll just go to Disney World. Like, it's mad. And I don't know why we aren't doing it. We must really sort this. I think it's a pressing issue as a society. We've got to learn how to teleport. Jamie says, I think they'll want Lion King open in time or similar to Universal UK to compete. And yeah, I totally agree, because that's the thing, isn't it? I mean, it's already interesting that Lion King Land will be one ride. I think there is going to be a restaurant and like a shop and a character meet. Whereas Universal are going to build a whole theme park, an entertainment district, and a 500-bedroom hotel. And it will probably still be quicker than Lion King Land. But like you said, I think they will want to try and compete and be like, oh, but look what we've got. So that would be amazing. Victoria, that flipping animatronic, and it's true, isn't it? Like, out of everything, I think the one thing they had to get right was the face, and it's just not there. And it's like, oh, okay, well, and it's interesting because like Disney Imagineers have always been so amazing, and I know that like during the pandemic they really reduced the amount of Imagineers they had and stuff like that, and a lot of the icons kind of retired or moved to different parks, and like stuff like this, I'm like, oh, that's noticeable now. Because I don't think if this was made pre-pandemic, it wouldn't look like Walt Disney. I think it would very much look like Walt Disney. So I'm like, can we sort this out, please? Because this is wild. Yes, Anne-Marie, Ultimate Gold Tokyo Disneyland. It just looks incredible, doesn't it? It's like next level amazing. The downside, though, but also the best thing, is the merchandise is next level insane, and it's really cheap. And I'm like, that is the best and worst thing that could happen. Because I'm like, how many suitcases can I reasonably take? That is the issue. Hi, Michelle. Lovely to join us. Thank you so much for being here. This is a great question. What's your perfect first night on a rival date in Orlando? I always love the idea of going to Magic Kingdom, but always too tired. Thinking about romanticizing and getting a pizza from the quick service and eating in bed. I am the same as you. I always think, oh my God, I'm going to get to Disney and like do things. And I don't. And I think it's but partly because I tend to get a later flight in the day. So by the time I get to Orlando, it's normally 7, 8 o'clock at night. And then once I get like a hire car, I often think, oh, I'll just pop to Walmart, get some stuff for the room, go to the hotel, maybe look around. Do I do that? Absolutely not. I drive to the hotel, I get in the room. I'm like, I better unpack because I've got to wear something tomorrow. Although to be fair, with the jet lag, I'm up at like 4 a.m. So I probably could just unpack then. But you know what is one of my favorite things? And I don't know if you feel this way, when you get into your room and you turn the telly on and they just have Resort TV and the soundtrack of it in the background, and you just immediately am like, I'm here. And it's always baffling to me, but also amazing how on your travel day, and I know this is how travel works, but I wake up in my house and I go, tonight I'll be asleep in Disney. It blows my mind every single time. And I'm like, I can't believe it. And it's like a long time to get there, but you're just like, this is wild that tonight I'm in Disney. It's so cool. But like you say, getting a little quick service meal, sitting in your room, relaxing is iconic. It's just so nice, isn't it? And like just knowing that you're going to get up in the morning and be at Disney, like even just thinking about it gets me so excited. And this is why when I started doing the business side of Most Magical Guides, it is like the biggest joy because I genuinely get as excited about other people's holidays as I do my own. And I think it's because I was really thinking about this the other day, because obviously when you do videos giving tips and advice, or like the itinerary planning service or the Zoom calls, stuff like that, you're giving over the tips and the advice so that you can help people have a good trip. But I was like, that isn't really what I'm doing. And I think the thing that I'm really trying to do is that feeling that I get at Disney, that magical feeling, that joyfulness. That's what I want other people to experience. And the vehicle for that is the tips and the advice. Because once you know how to get the best out of Disney, you can just go and experience it. You're not having the stress, you're not having letdowns, you're not having disappointment. But it's getting to like, and that's why I get so excited when I'm doing all of the business stuff and like interacting with people and helping plan their trips, because I'm just like, I know what they're going to feel. and I can't wait for them to get there. And it's really nice because oftentimes people will even contact me when they're out there and send photos and stuff. And just hearing them having an amazing time, I'm like, oh, it's happened. And because I think that's actually what we love. And I think that's why we plan so much, because we're so excited to go, but we want to have the best experience. And the way to do that is knowing the best way to get things the best in Disney. But really, what we're chasing is the feeling. And it's not like, I just want to know where the best food is or what's the best ride. It's just, I want to feel that magic. And getting to kind of be part of that for other people's trips is literally the biggest joy. So I've just gone on a complete tangent, but it just got me very excited thinking about Resort TV, which is amazing. And what is everyone? I'd also love to know, because I think Michelle has a really great question. What do you do on your first night when you arrive at Disney? Do you venture out? When, like, say, when I go to Disneyland Paris, I typically will get there maybe 4 or 5 o'clock. So I'm always like, let's go into the parks. Always go on Pirates of the Caribbean first. It's become a tradition. Absolutely love that. And it's like you just know you've arrived when you've done that first ride and it's Pirates, and it's so much fun. It's so good. I'm hoping that Universal Great Britain pushes Disneyland Paris to add the long-rumoured third gate. And yes, I totally agree, because I do think, first and foremost, they have to kind of do it, right? Because they've had this agreement with the French government that they would open a third gate, and they keep making excuses up. You know, like when you don't do your homework in time, you're like, oh, well, the dog ate the homework, or, you know, whatever. And Disneyland Paris has been doing that for a long time with the French government, but they are getting a bit fed up. And they're like, you have to do it, because part of it is that to have Disney in Paris, they had to keep investing in France. And they're like, put your money where your mouth is. So I do think that that will be a big push, because, like you say, they've got the French government pushing them, they've got Universal pushing them. So hopefully they will announce it. And what would you like for the third park to be? Or what would you like to see in the third park? That would be amazing. Oh, Karen, this is a great question. When is your next trip and to which park? So, the thing that is very exciting is I'm going to Disneyland Paris at the very end of September and beginning of October. So, I'm going to get to experience the Halloween season. I'm going to stay at the Art of Marvel Hotel for the very first time, which I'm so excited for. I visit it every trip. I've never stayed there, so I cannot wait for that. I've also got a November trip planned so that I can see the Christmas celebrations at Disneyland Paris, because I genuinely do think that is the most amazing time of year to visit any Disney park. They're so Christmassy and so beautiful. I absolutely love it. And as the people on here that are the hardcore people, um, in the next couple of weeks, there might be a surprise. So just keep your eyes and ears out. I mean, you always will keep your eyes and ears out. Keep them peeled. You need to keep them eyes and ears out, just so that you can survive and you don't get run over or something. But keep them peeled, because there might be something extra coming, and it's just very exciting. So I can't wait. It's gonna be very fun. It's gonna be a very fun time soon. But that also means there's going to be lots of really cool, like from September onwards, well, sorry, more like the beginning of October onwards, there's going to be lots of Disney vlogs and really, really fun things coming out of the Disney park. So I'm very excited for that as well. Oh, this is so exciting. I've actually talked so much that I've had to scroll back through the chat. I'm so, so sorry. It's amazing. Okay, here we go. Jamie says, oh, I didn't know they were getting a 500 bedroom hotel. Wonder if it will be a deluxe with fast passes. And yeah, I think that's going to be really interesting to see how they do it, isn't it? Because there's a lot of talk about what will happen when it first opens. I've had a lot of people say that annual passes won't be a thing, because where it's going to be so popular, I think, and I do think that's true, they will probably delay annual passes for a year or so. Interesting if they'll open with Express. Will they open with Express or not? Or again, will they go, let's just get a lay of the land and then add it at a later date? But it'd be great if there was a benefit like you get in Orlando, where if you stay at a deluxe resort, you get the fast pass, the express pass included, because that would be amazing. But sorry, I've just remembered. Sorry to interrupt myself, but we know Halloween Horror Nights is coming. They've applied for permits, and I'm already knowing I'm getting a frequent fear pass. It's years and years away, but I'm getting it. And this is something I was saying at the Most Magical Meetup. We need to do a Halloween Horror Nights meetup when it happens in 2030. So, I mean, I don't know if your calendar's free. I don't know if you've got space in the diary, but we're going to do it. Are you going to be free in about 5 years' time? Possibly, hopefully. Oh, hi, Nancy. Thank you so much for joining. This is so lovely of you to say. No questions, but I just want to say how much I'm enjoying your channel. Thank you for sharing your Disney World trips with us. And it is such a joy. I love it so much. It's genuinely my favourite thing. Like, I love getting to do the vlogs and kind of taking people along on the trip. And it's just so much fun. And again, I also think that's something when you're solo traveling, I kind of don't feel solo because even though I know people aren't there physically. Knowing that you're talking to people, even though at the time you're talking to the camera, is amazing because it does feel like you've got someone to share the experience with, which I absolutely love. It's so fun. Oh, that's so sweet. Anne-Marie says, "So your joyfulness comes through." And yes, like it's just that's the thing, isn't it? Disney is just so joyful. And that's part of the magic of it, I think. And I always talk about this, but I think the fact that when you go there, when you listen to the songs or the parades and the message in the nighttime shows, it's always full of optimism and like anything is possible. You can follow your dreams. And I think that really gets knocked out of adults because you have responsibilities, you have bills to pay, you've got like things you have to be doing. And it kind of, you go, I don't have the time, I don't have the resources, I don't have the ability to follow my dreams. And then you go to Disney and you come out and you're like, I can do anything, which I think is amazing. And I think, and I actually think that's why adults benefit so much from Disney trips. So many people talk about like, why do adults go to Disney without kids? And I'm like, because you come out feeling amazing and you get that reminder of anything is possible, but also how much you need joy and playfulness in your life. And you shouldn't feel bad about those things. They're like an essential part of like having a good time and having just a nice experience. And I think that's why adults benefit so much at Disney because you just come away being like, oh my God, like I feel so happy. And I could do anything. I could take on the world. And also, like, it, like being in a Disney park is literally the physical embodiment of if you can dream it, you can do it. The fact that theme parks used to just be, you know, like a few kind of fun fair type rides just for kids, and that was it. And Walt Disney was like, oh no, we're changing that. We're going to make it so it's a whole experience, that it's not just rides, it's entertainment, it's streetmosphere, it's all of these things, and it's for everyone. Like being in the physical embodiment of that, it can't help but make you feel optimistic because you're like, well, I'm living it. I'm literally living his dream, which I think is amazing. It's so good. Thank you so much, Berlin. It was so lovely to see you. Have a good evening. Oh, this is a great question. Which Disney hotel have you never stayed in but would love to stay in? I would love to obviously stay at the Disneyland Hotel. I think that would be so beautiful. Getting to just be over the gates to Disneyland Paris is iconic. I'd also love to stay at the Polynesian Village Resort. I love going there. I just think the theming's so great. I love that you have the beach and it's so relaxed. I love everything about. Interestingly, Stitch exists there. So it's probably not a natural choice for me to go because I might bump into Stitch. But love it. I just think everything about it and like the like vibes there are really chill. I think it's so nice. And I also love like the Toy Story Hotel in Tokyo. How amazing is that? It just looks next level. And actually, I love that you asked this because it was one of the questions that I had for everyone was which hotel would you all love to stay in? What would be like your dream resort? So I would love to know what all you would like to stay in as well. Hi, Kid Sunny. Thank you so much for joining. It's lovely to see you. Oh, no worries at all. It's lovely that you are here. It's wonderful. Hi, Alison. And you have said normally our friends have flown in from Jacksonville. And you meet them at the resort hotel bar and just meet up with the bartenders who we all know so well. That's so lovely, isn't it? That when you arrive, you get that welcome from people you know, and that's just so lovely. And what a great way to start your trip as well. That's lovely. Oh, Anna says in Disneyland Paris, you usually arrive in time for the parade. And oh, what a great way to start your trip off, getting to see all the characters. That's so lovely. I love that. That's fantastic timing as well to be like, okay, I'm getting here for this time. Michelle says, totally get you about putting on resort TV and watching the Mickey cartoons whilst getting ready in the morning. Feels like I've arrived. And I totally agree. I think that's the thing, isn't it? And it's so funny. Like if you said to other people, oh, my favourite thing is when I arrive at the hotel, the music that plays in the background on the telly, people would be like, what are you doing? And I'm like, "You don't understand. You haven't been, but you'll understand." And I love that, like, on YouTube now, like, you can have that. Or, like, sometimes if I'm doing some sort of work where, because I'm the sort of person, if I hear, like, I can't listen to music with lyrics if I'm working, because then I start listening to the lyrics and I can't concentrate. But what I really love sometimes is putting on the soundtracks for the parks. Like they'll have like a Tomorrowland one or an Epcot one or whatever it is, and that's so fun because it's just that comfort of like all these songs that you're used to. And sometimes in the parks you don't even necessarily notice them, and then when you listen to the soundtracks, you're like, oh, I do know this song, which I love. Jamie says Target or Walmart to stock up on water is an arrival date must. Yes, and that's the thing, isn't it? Like when I used to get an earlier flight, that's what I would always do. Like go straight from the airport to Walmart and then to the hotel and getting all that water. This is a top tip that I do as a solo traveler, which looks insane, but bear with me. I normally now go on the first full day, so I'll go to the park for a while, and then in the afternoon I'll hop out and go to a Target or a Walmart, and by that point, my cases are empty. So I'll take one of the suitcases with me to Walmart. Luckily, I've got a car, so it's okay. Because you get like the like it's like 24 packs of water is like the smallest that you can get, and I'll normally get stuff like Powerade and stuff like that as well. Put them all in the suitcase, and then I can just pull them to the room instead of trying to carry all of the drinks. And it works a charm. It's brilliant. You might look nuts, but it's brilliant. Oh, kid, you've said you're going to Disneyland at the beginning of October and for Christmas. How lovely. And you get to experience two amazing seasons, which is so, so, so wonderful. And yeah, there's nowhere more Christmassy, is there? It's just stunning. And I love what they put on for Christmas because you just think, oh my God. And I was never a big Christmas person, didn't really enjoy Christmas. And then going to the Disney parks, it made me be like, oh, this is why people like Christmas. I get it now. Totally get it. It's amazing. Oh, Karen has said, "How wonderful! I'm heading to Disney World in September and was hoping I might get to spot you there." Yes, that's so exciting. And as we were saying, September, my favourite time of year to visit. It's nice and quiet. You get those good deals. So I'm just so excited that you're going to be there in September. This is going to be awesome. Oh, this is so lovely. NW says, we recently found your old videos and are hooked. My 8-year-old was pretending to be Sophie and reviewing her food in her best Dutch and English. That is so cute. That is so iconic. Oh my God. I absolutely love that. How sweet. And also, so incredible that she's bilingual. And that's like unbelievable. Look at this. She's gonna take over. She's gonna take over. It's gonna be amazing. That's so cute. Jamie says Christmas is the best, and your next trip is November to Disneyland Paris. Getting to enjoy that Christmas season is going to be the best, isn't it? It's just so cute, and yeah, Disneyland Paris. It feels Christmassy because where in France it can be a bit colder as you get towards the later part of the year. It just feels Christmassy as well. I remember once I went to Las Vegas for Christmas, and it was so strange being somewhere warm for Christmas. And I know if you live places that are warm, like if you live in Australia, it's totally normal to have like a roasting hot Christmas. But I was just like, this is wild. I don't know how to cope. What's happening here? And then Zoe said, November trip planned to Disneyland Paris. Just me and Stuart this time. Can't wait. And yes, it's so, so nice, isn't it? To sometimes just do a couple's trip and get that time to kind of bond and do stuff. Because parents, you really don't have much time just with each other because you're just so, so, so busy. And it's lovely making all the memories with your kids. But it's also so nice to kind of get to go and connect and make memories together. So that's just going to be so lovely. I'm so excited for you. And so I would love to stay in Newport Bay or the Disneyland Hotel. And yeah, they're just this is the thing. I actually don't think there's a bad hotel at Disneyland Paris. And I think it comes down to either the theme, the budget, or maybe the amenities. Like if you want to be super close to the parks, obviously the Disneyland Hotel is amazing. But I think they're all great. I think the theming is amazing. I think they're all comfortable. I love how they're all close to the park. So I genuinely don't think there's a bad hotel. And it's just nice to kind of work your way through them if you can, which is great. Yes, Disneyland is so special for both kids and adults, and I think that's what's so nice, isn't it? You kind of get a different experience. Like I know when I was a kid, I was just obsessed with rides, like to the point where I was like almost blinkered, like I didn't care about anything else. I might occasionally meet a character, but I was like only if they're on the way. I'm not going out my way. I've got a ride to get on. Whereas now I appreciate it so much more because of all of the different things you could do, but also just that feeling that you get. And yeah, it's just so, so wonderful. And I'm like, it's just the best. I know people just, it gets boring to just keep saying it's the best, but it genuinely is. I genuinely can't. And it's also one of those things that, like, say you're doing a 2-week trip to Disney World, right? And you know you're gonna be walking 20,000 steps a day. It's gonna be like 35-degree heat. If I went to someone, "Oh, I think about going to Spain. We're gonna walk 20,000 steps a day, roasting heat. We're gonna be getting up at like 6 a.m. every day, not getting into bed till like super, super late. Do you fancy coming?" You go, "That sounds terrible. I wouldn't do that." But at Disney, that's not a problem. It's so, so funny that that's just a normal part of visiting Disney and everyone just accepts it and they're like, "Brilliant. Sign me up. When are we going?" I think it's so great. Yes, I love that so many people would love to go to the Disneyland hotel. Absolutely gorgeous setting. I'd also love to wake up looking at the castle. 100%. Yes, it's just so, so lovely, isn't it? And Jamie said also a castle club room at the Disneyland hotel. Seeing the fireworks in a bathrobe is the dream. That's the thing, is it? Those rooms where you can see down Main Street or into the park are unbelievable. And what a unique experience. That's so rare that you have a hotel that's actually over Main Street. Like, you have park view rooms, but not like this. And like just the joy, like you say, of like sitting in your lovely room in a bathrobe watching the fireworks, like absolutely iconic. And it's one of those like bucket list activities, isn't it? Can you like imagine? It would be so, so good. It's one of those, when people say, if I won the lottery, I wouldn't say anything, but there'd be signs. And it's like, I think that would be a lot of people's sign. It'd be amazing. Oh, Oh, hi, Lumbryn. Lovely for you to join us. Thank you so much. You're going with your niece in September, and as a vegan, was quite lost about the options in the park. Your videos have been a lifesaver, and I've been watched all of them. Thank you. That is so, so kind. And it's so nice now, isn't it, that there's so many options, because it was so difficult before, where it's like you have fries, a dry salad, and bread and pullet. That's it. Whereas now, sometimes it's hard to narrow down where to eat, which is great. And yeah, there's some really, really, really good, tasty options. And it's nice now because when you go, you get excited for what you're going to eat, which is it makes such a difference, doesn't it? Because that's one of the reasons I haven't been to the Asian parks yet. Is it's so much harder to find vegan food, and I feel like once there's like a few dishes and you can rotate them, then I'll go. But it's that thing of dining is such a big part of a trip, and obviously you also need to eat. It's pretty important. So you want to be able to do that and have a good time and not be constantly thinking like, I'm super, super hungry. I haven't been able to eat enough. So being at Disneyland Paris now and having options finally is such a joy. And it's always nice when they like make a little change or add a new dish and it's like, oh my God. And I've seen, and I don't know if it's real, but they've just added new screens where you can order at Toad Hall, and on the options that you can pick from, the fish and chips is back, the vegan fish and chips. And I was like, is this real life or is this a prank? What's happening? I haven't been able to get a confirmation yet, but it would be amazing if it was officially back. I do love that it's still listed as breaded vegan and chips. And people are like, if I fancy cannibalism, well, if you're gonna give it a go, go to Toad Hall. But no, it is the vegan fish. So hopefully that's back because that is so, so good. And I did always wonder if it was a supplier issue, because you will sometimes find this, because where it was such a popular dish, I'd be surprised if they just got rid of it. But hopefully, if it was a supplier issue, that means it's been resolved and it's back, which would be so, so good. Oh, this is going to be amazing. Tori says, I'm going to the Christmas one in November to Disneyland Paris for your first time ever experiencing it. It should be amazing. Oh my God, you are going to absolutely love it. Christmas is the absolute best time to visit. And I think that's the thing, like getting to experience anything new for the first time is amazing. But Christmas season is like next level. And you're just like, this is literally what Christmas is meant to be like, which I love. It's so good. Oh, let's have a little look. Here we go. I'm doing some scrolling. I'm very sorry. All of a sudden just looking to the side. Let's have a little look. Oh, where are we up to? Ooh. Oh, this is amazing. Okay, so I'm sorry. I've talked so much that I've completely lost my place in the chat. Oh, Kitsani said you're going to Oogie Boogie Bash for your first time. Gone for Christmas 3 times, and Christmas time at Disneyland is the best and it's extra magical. Totally agree. I was there a couple of years ago at Christmas and it was amazing. But I've always wanted to go to Oogie Boogie Bash. It looks next level. And I think what's really nice is that all of the parks do their celebrations slightly differently. So it's not copy and paste. And so it means it's so worthwhile over the years getting to experience the different versions. And I just think Oogie Boogie Bash looks amazing, especially because they have such rare characters. And I'm like, this looks so cool. The like villains trail that you can do looks absolutely incredible. So I can't wait to hear what you think of it because it looks so good. Oh, you live in Phoenix, so it's not hot during Christmas, but usually not super cold. That's the thing, isn't it? You're like, it's not going to be like -5, but it's not going to be like 90. So that's good. It's a nice temperature. You visited Disneyland Paris last November and had one of my days heavy snow. It was the most magical until my flight home got cancelled. The pictures and the memories are extra special. And that's the thing, isn't it? Like sometimes when it snows, it is so lovely because it becomes so picturesque. Like seeing the castle covered in snow. And actually that'll be really interesting when World of Frozen opens when there's snow and like Arendelle will have snow on it. It will be so next level incredible. But it's never fun when your flight gets cancelled, isn't it? It's like all of that stress of like, what do we do? How does it get handled? So I hope it wasn't too bad. But yeah, I love that the pictures totally make up for it. Kid says, I never went to Disneyland as a kid, so I have a lot of trips to make up for. My boyfriend wants to stay at the Californian. Oh my God. The Grand Californian is stunning. Like I popped in there so we could see the gingerbread houses and the big Christmas tree, and it was beautiful. And the fact that you're kind of right in California Adventure Park is stunning, and love it. Like if I was going to stay at a hotel in Disneyland, that would be the one as well. It just looks so, so nice. And especially in the Christmas season, it's just next level amazing. Yes, and W, you have said your biggest dream going to the Disney parks in Florida and California. And yes, that's the thing, isn't it? Like, it's so nice to have these things to like work towards and our goal. It's like I really want to get to go there, and they are so so worthwhile, and it's just amazing. I think this is something that's great as well about Disney is the parks all have familiarity. So like when you walk in and you're on Main Street, you are like, oh my God, I've arrived, I'm home, this is amazing. But then all of the parks also have their own uniqueness, and particularly when you visit the international parks, they also have their own cultural identity. And I think that's so clever because it must be so hard to make something that is familiar but also unique. And even with the rides, like if you go on Pirates of the Caribbean, every single version is slightly different. So it's you don't feel like you're going on the same ride over and over again. And I'm like, I think it's so clever how they do it because you're just like, this is amazing. But it also means it's so worthwhile visiting other parks so you can see what they're like. So yeah, what a dream. I hope you get to visit all of them. That'd be amazing. Or Michelle has said, any tips for doing my first fully solo trip to Disney World? And yes, that is so, so exciting. Cannot wait for you. Some things I really love is taking advantage of the single rider line on stuff like Remy's Ratatouille Adventure, Test Track, even Rise of the Resistance. The ones that get the really big queues, totally dip in there, get your little solo moment, and you're gonna queue less, which is fantastic. I really like when I'm out there, I'm so involved in what I'm doing that when I'm in the queues, that's when I tend to check in with what's going on at home or social media, because sometimes it's so hard to fit in those things, and particularly with time difference. But when you're in queues, you're like, "Oh, okay, I'm gonna just quickly scroll and have a little look and check in with people." I've suddenly find a free moment in my schedule, which is great. I would totally say doing the nighttime shows is so so worthwhile, and particularly I'm obsessed with Phantasmic right now, and I love that it's an auditorium, so everyone gets a good view. Like sitting down watching a show makes such a difference, and I feel like there's no better way to end a Disney day than that. I also really think for solo travelers that I don't know, see for me, because I'm used to, I do a lot of things like even when I'm at home, I will go to restaurants, cinemas, theatre, solo. But I do think what's good is if you would prefer to just kind of get some food, fuel up, and head out quickly. Quick service is fantastic, and particularly mobile ordering, so you save time and you can get going. However, if you do want to do table service meals and particularly character dining meals, I've always found they kind of go above and beyond when you're solo. Like the service will make time to chat to you and make you feel really, really welcome. The characters are amazing. And I think people can be nervous about eating in table service restaurants, but they really, really make you feel special. So if you are thinking about it, it's definitely worth doing. And also, I would say something I've enjoyed is multipass. And I think what's good about solo travelers is if you want to do like just 1 or 2 days of multipass, say it's $30 a day. The price does fluctuate depending on the time of year, but it doesn't break the bank. But it will make such a big difference. So places like Magic Kingdom and Hollywood Studios, where you get the most out of it, even if you were just to do 2 days, so one in each of those parks, the difference it will make will be huge. And then it also means not only you fit more into your day, but it's also less time to be filling whilst in queues. Because I feel like that's the only time people kind of notice they're solo. The rest of the time, like I say, you're so busy, you don't really think about it. But in queues, you're like, oh, okay, I'm just waiting, and like other people, you can chat and pass the time that way. So if you want to skip some of the queues, that is definitely worthwhile because it definitely makes such a difference. And then you're like, I'm not having to think about talking to people. I can just move straight forward and I'm on a ride. It's fantastic. Oh, perfect. So I've lost the chat again. I've got to be quicker. I've got to start rambling. I'm so sorry. Hi Louise, lovely to see you. Thank you so much for joining us. It's so wonderful to have you here. Oh, kid says I'm going to Six Flags next weekend and they have nothing for vegan food. I told myself it's not Disney and I have to lower a lot of expectations. And that's the thing. Like, same with the UK theme parks. Like, they will sometimes have the occasional vegan option, but they're typically not great. So I end up taking a packed lunch because I'm like, at least I know what I'm doing with that. And it can be pricey as well. And you're like, if I'm paying a lot and it's not great food, I'm not into it. So yeah, it's the one good thing is Disney are very, very accommodating, which is amazing. Louise says the video of you traveling from Charles de Gaulle to Disneyland Paris using the TGV has given me the confidence to do it too, which is so fantastic. That's so lovely to hear. And I think it's so great that you're there in 10 minutes. That's the best part. You're just like brilliant. And that's the thing. Charles de Gaulle is a big airport, but luckily, once you get into your head or you know the layout, that basically it's a big H. So like you've got the terminals either side, and then you've got like the middle bit, which is the train station. And where it's well signposted, you're either going to be going this way or this way up one of the sides. And in the middle, you're going to get to the train station. So it's really nice and easy to navigate around, which I love. The only downside it can be, depending on where you are in the terminal. Like if you're at the very top, it's a little bit of a walk, but it's kind of, at least you can't get lost. It's just a straight line and you keep going. And yeah, that train, oh my God, one stop, 10 minutes, absolutely fantastic. You want to get to Disney quick. That's the thing, isn't it? You're like, I'm doing it. We're going. We've got to get there as soon as possible. Because travel day is long, is it? That is the downside. Like any travel day just feels like it takes so long. So once you land somewhere, you're like, okay, we've got to get to Disney quick now because I've spent a lot of time getting to this point, which is amazing. Oh, hi Isabel, it's lovely to see you. Thank you so much for joining us. You said, love your videos and all the vegan reviews. I went for the first time this year to Disneyland Paris and already booked to see it for Halloween. Would you recommend Disneyland Paris for Christmas too? So excited that you've already been like, I'm going back. And Halloween is amazing. It's so much fun. I love that you get to kind of see some of the villains, you get the parade, it's awesome. But yeah, I would say Christmas is the best time of year to visit Disneyland Paris because it really is like next level magical. There's really nothing like the combination of Disney and Christmas because it's like peak both things. And especially Disneyland Paris, like I say, where it is like a little bit chillier and it feels more cozy and it feels really Christmassy, it's just wonderful. So I would highly, highly recommend it. If you can get to go for Christmas one year, absolutely do it. And I do love that the seasons are kind of long. So I will typically visit like more towards like the end of November because it's quieter and it's cheaper prices, and obviously the closer you get to Christmas the more expensive it gets. But I do know people that have gone over Christmas itself and had Christmas Day in Disney, which I also think is so cool. But it does get busy, but I think if you know I'm going mostly for the atmosphere and maybe you've like booked a meal or something like that, then you can just enjoy it that way and not have to think I'm going to stand in like loads of long queues. So yeah, it's so worthwhile doing. It's just amazing. Karen says, oh god, here we go. I've never been to Disneyland Paris and it's on my bucket list. I especially want to see Phantom Manor, which I hear is amazing. I love it. And again, like we were saying, I think it's great that it has its own unique storyline and it's so fun. Absolutely a must do. And it's one of my favorite attractions. I will never ever get bored of it. I was actually thinking last time I was in Disneyland Paris, if I was to be stuck on a ride for 24 hours, this is something that happens when you're solo. You start thinking weird things, or maybe it's just me. But I was thinking, if I was stuck on any ride for 24 hours, what would I do? And I think I'd like Phantom Manor because I find it very relaxing going around in the Doom buggy. It's dark, so if you needed to sleep, brilliant. You might get woken up by like the little ghoul man who starts laughing at you. That might be freaky. But although I was thinking actually that probably would be scary if you knew you're alone and like there's no getting off the ride. If you know what I mean. Like, it's one thing, like, 'cause one of my favorite experiences is if you were ever in Disneyland Paris and maybe it's the fireworks time, Phantom Manor typically has very few people in it. And what happens is you get my favorite experience, which is they will space you out. So you'll get in a doom buggy, but when you're like turning corners and you can see people, there's no one in front of you and no one behind. So you really feel like you're on your own, and it makes it that much more intense, and it makes it more creepy. And yeah, I was experiencing that, and I was like, oh, maybe it would be scary. Maybe I'd suddenly start freaking out if I was on here for 24 hours and there was no one else around. But I'd love to know if you were trapped for 24 hours. What ride would you choose? It's amazing. I also, this is something I have to share with you because it was absolutely amazing. We all know, one of my favorite things to ask people is who's your favorite character on Pirates of the Caribbean? And mine is Man with Pigs. Love Man with Pigs. And when we did the Most Magical Meetup, we went to the Disney store, which was fantastic. And Helen, pin collector, checking out their pins, found the most iconic thing. Man with Pig now has merchandise. I couldn't believe this. I was like, well, that's coming home with me. I'm not even a pin person, mostly because I know if I go down the rabbit hole, I'm bankrupting myself. I can't believe he's got his own pin. So if you also have a favourite pirate, do let me know, because I love thinking up these weird things whilst I'm in the queue on my own. Like, favourite pirate. It's great. Kid says Fantastic is my favourite show. I also loved every second of World of Colour 1 at California Adventure, made me cry every single time. This is the thing I always say to people. I think the best way to end a day at Disney is crying, which sounds insane, but seeing those shows, which are so amazing, and they have all of the feelings and they bring all the emotions up, like, I genuinely think it's a core part of a Disney experience. And actually, that's how I measure how good a show is. If I go to a new fireworks show and it doesn't make me cry, I'm like, didn't pass the test. Because also I'm someone, I will cry at everything. Like music, books, adverts on TV, TikTok, constantly. So I'm like, if you can't make me cry, then there's something that's gone wrong here. But I genuinely feel like, and that's the thing, isn't it? Like Phantasmic, it really taps in to something, and it's so great seeing all the characters on the boat. I love Mickey. I love the fireworks. Like, it's just everything. Like the music, it's just wonderful. It's just so good. Yeah, it's just iconic. It's so fun. And I'd actually love to see it in Disneyland because last time I was there, it was not long after they'd had the fire. So the show was on hiatus, so I missed it. So I really want to see the Disneyland version. So I definitely have to come back to experience that. Oh, NW says Christmas time is amazing. Went this year for the first time and it's so cool. Hope you get to visit one day, which would be awesome. Jamie says, you love Fantasmic, but there should be a warning about the walk after a full park day. It just keeps going. But it's worth it though. That's so true, isn't it? And you're just like, how am I getting there? When am I getting to the seat? When am I sitting down? And I do have to say, it is god tier shows that, you know, there's tiered seating so everyone can see, and you get to sit and watch a show. And I'm like, for me, Happily Ever After is my all-time favorite Disney show. However, I don't really get to enjoy it that often because most of the time where I'm very short, kids on shoulders, don't see anything. I've been waiting an hour and a half, wall of kids, terrible. Fantasmic, everyone's getting a good view. Your feet aren't killing you. And I'm like, oh, whoever decided to put this in an auditorium literally should be given like, they should be given like $1 trillion because it's so worthwhile for everyone. Oh no, kid. Six Flags does not allow outside food at all. Oh, that makes it so difficult, doesn't it? Because it's just like if I can't bring my own food, like you say, I'm just gonna be eating fries. I'm just gonna have to survive the fries. It's so hard, isn't it? Because I'm like, you either have to cater for people or you have to let them bring food in, but they're like, no food for you. You're just gonna have to fast today. That's just wild. Man with Pigs is the best. Oh, I love that Man with Pigs. He's so funny. And I have to say, one of the only people that I was like, will this top Man with Pigs? Is in the Disneyland Pirates, they have Man with Cats. And I was like, uh-oh, uh-oh. Although Man with Pigs has more pigs. Man with Cats, just 2 cats. So, you know. But loved that. Loved the combination. It's so, so, so good. Hi, Sean, lovely for you to join us. It's great to see you. Thank you for spending your Sunday evening with us. Louise has said, I'm staying in Disneyland Hotel in March. Can you elaborate on the Princess Encounter that's exclusive for hotel guests only, please? How incredible. What a stay you're going to have. So I actually think, I don't know if it's exclusive to hotel guests now because I have seen they will do like walkthroughs of the hotel, and then there are like moments throughout the day where they will do like almost like a little show, and you'll sometimes get other people join in, like characters, obviously not Disney characters per se, but like people that are like new characters involved in these performances. And I have seen people that have just been like kind of visiting the hotel at the right moment be able to see these. And I don't know, because obviously originally the hotel was only exclusively for guests. So I don't know if they do still have any princess encounters that are just for guests, because that would be amazing actually. And I should actually look more into that, because when you're paying such a premium, if you could have something, because say for example, the Art of Marvel Hotel, you can have the private meet and greets, the character meets with superheroes that only hotel guests can do. I don't know if that's what they have at the Disneyland Hotel, because I've never heard anyone have that, if you know what I mean. Because you obviously meet people and know people that have stayed, and no one said that that was a thing. But I do know they do have these like pop up, like almost like shows with the princesses, which look amazing. And the fact that like you could just be hanging out at your hotel, and then all of a sudden the Disney princesses are walking past you, it makes the hotel feel so alive. It feels really Disney. So we need to know all about this when you come back, because it just sounds amazing. Victoria says, there's a guy I watched on YouTube the other day and he spent 12 hours going on soaring over and over and over again. Can you imagine doing that right for 12 hours straight? That is really intense. I don't think I could be doing that. I would just be like, oh my God, this is too much. And do you know what's funny with me and soaring? So I have a fear of heights. And every now and then, soaring will trigger it. So this is going to sound ridiculous, but years ago I was in Las Vegas and they've got the fake Eiffel Tower, right? And we were like, let's go up it. That'll be fun. Got to the top, but first and foremost, I don't like glass lifts because it's that feeling, and being able to see the ground get further and further away as you get higher and higher. It really freaks me out. I start panicking. So we got to the top, and I was like, "Oh no, no, no! This is bad. This is bad." And also, if you've ever been, it's a very narrow walkway, and also the lift shaft. When the lift goes back down, obviously you can't fall in or anything, but you can see vertically down. And I was like, oh my God, because it's like a vertical drop that way, a vertical drop that way, and I'm on this little narrow thing. And there's no way you can fall like this. All enclosed, it's not a thing. But whilst we were up there, the fountains opposite went off when they were doing their lovely little show. But when they first start, and if you're not close enough to hear the music like we weren't, it's almost like an explosion, the noise. And I thought the Eiffel Tower was falling down. So I thought, oh my God, I can't believe this is happening. We're really high up, it's falling down. And I properly started panicking. And every now and then when I'm on soaring, and when you start going up the Eiffel Tower, it gives me the feeling of being in that glass lift again. and it panics me. I've managed to overcome it a little bit because now when I go on soaring, I will ask to sit in the 3rd row so that I'm closest to the ground. Because I do find when you're in the 1st row and you go up higher, it starts panicking me as well. So that is a good tip. If you are scared of heights, you can request the 3rd row and they're very, very accommodating. But yeah, I don't think I could do it. I think there would be too many flashbacks to the Eiffel Tower. I don't think I could cope. Oh, that's so fun, Isabel. Didn't take much, and you've convinced me. I cannot wait to hear what you think because it's just so, so, so special. And can't wait to see your next YouTube videos. Yes. So the next lot of vlogs will be coming out in October. But until then, we've still got planning videos coming out, and there'll be for Disney World and Disneyland Paris. So still lots of things coming up, which is so exciting. And I'm busy recording them all at the moment. So hopefully I can kind of get ahead a little bit. But I'm going to also do a video all about D23 because I'm like, what are they going to announce? What's going to happen? What are we going to find out? So hopefully, end of August, we'll get some nice new updates. And like I say, hopefully we'll get something about World of Frozen. Even if we don't get an exact date, I'd love a season. At least we can plan a bit more. But that's the difficult thing, isn't it? Because if you are thinking of going to Disneyland Paris next year at the moment, it is hard to know, do I just book a trip and then if World of Frozen happens to be open, perfect? Or do I book and then if I need to move the trip, I can? Or do I wait until they release the date? And it makes it difficult. So I do wonder if, like I say, when the September dates open up, if they would have given us an idea, because I feel like if they don't, people are going to hold off and they're going to notice that the bookings might be down a little bit. But it's just purely because people are holding off until they get a date. So they're like, just release the date. Once we have the date, we'll all book. Everyone's coming. It's fantastic. Victoria loves Man with Pigs too. And I love that was the only thing you almost purchased because I mean, how incredible! And this is the thing that I love as well, that the fact that like it's such a niche thing, but like Disney fans will be like, "Oh my god, Man with Pigs," but everyone else will be like, What's this?" And you're like, you don't get it. You've clearly not been on Pirates. You don't understand." But I love We Need a Man with Pigs fan club because we all love. Alistair said if she was stuck on a ride for 24 hours, it would be Phantom Manor or Haunted Mansion. And trust me, I've spent many hours thinking about it too. Yes, that's the thing, isn't it? I've also thought about which ride would I love to work on and which ride would I hate to work on. And I know in Disneyland Paris, the ride I would not enjoy would be Crush's Coaster. If you were stood and hear mine for like 16 hours a day, I couldn't listen to that for like an hour. So I don't know how they're doing it. I don't know if they have earplugs in. I don't know what's going on, but they need a pay rise immediately. I also think it would be fun to work on Phantom Manor or Tower of Terror, just because you get to be creepy and weird. I think that's so much fun. Oh, this is a perfect choice, Anne-Marie. I'd pick Carousel of Progress. Food in the fridge, air conditioning, cold sarsaparilla, video games, and a bathroom. You've got everything you need, which is perfect. Do you know what? Whenever I go on Carousel of Progress, I always think about, I think one of the worst marketing things that's ever happened in history is sarsaparilla being renamed root beer. Because if someone said to me, she fancies a sarsaparilla, even if I didn't know what it was, I'd be like, yes. Sarsaparilla? What joyful word to say. Root beer. What downgrade? I'm like, who's done this? Bring back sarsaparilla. I'm furious. It's amazing. Oh, oh, what's happening here? I feel like I'm missing out. Oh, oh yeah, that is absolutely wild. Doing 12 hours. And did he live stream it? That is really impressive as well, to live stream for 12 hours on soaring. That's absolutely awesome. Kid says, I don't know any of the names of the pirates, but I love the steering skeleton captain. That is also an awesome one. I also like the skeleton who I feel like he is on other versions of the ride, but definitely Disneyland Paris. He's at the very end and he's a skeleton drinking a drink, and you can see it go through his body. He doesn't have a body, but you can see the water go through the skeleton. I love that. I just think that's so, because this is the thing. Every single time I go on Pirates, I can't believe how old it is as a ride. Because to me, it never feels dated. And I just think it's incredible that it still feels great and fresh, even though it's decades and decades old. And I'm like, I don't know how you're doing this. And I also love now that there's a whole kind of generation of people who think that the ride came out after the films and don't realize the films came first. And I think that's really, really fun. And you're like, oh, no, Nope, it was definitely the ride first, and, I do love that they're doing more films of the rides. I quite liked the Haunted Mansion film. I know there's been a couple of them. I also liked, I don't know if you've seen the Muppet version, amazing. I'm still very much on the Muppet remakes of everything would be the best thing ever train. Love that. I really liked Jungle Cruise, and I think one of the reasons I liked the Jungle Cruise film is because there was just so many references to the ride, and I watched it with my friend, and she's never been on the ride, and, it was getting to the bit where they were gonna say the backside of water, and I started quoting it at the top of my lungs, and she was just like, I don't know what it's like. It's like an exorcism's happening or something. You're just screaming, "The backside of water!" But I love that. And again, like if you love the ride, you get those little references that other people don't get. So I'd love it if they did more. I know there's talk, isn't there? There's supposed to be a Tower of Terror film with Scarlett Johansson, and it kind of went away, and now it's possibly coming back. So I'm like, what's happening? But they did do a Tower of Terror film. Have I imagined that? They have done a Terror film before, ages ago, right? I hope I haven't imagined that, but I feel like I might have imagined. Maybe I've just dreamed about it, and it's I've just the dream version was great. Oh. Hi, Nick. Thank you so much for joining us. It's lovely to have you here in the live stream. Thank you for spending your Sunday with us. It's fantastic. Karen says, I agree with Carousel of Progress. Plus, you would have a cute dog to keep you company, which is so true. During my last Disney World trip, when I did one of the backstage tours, I learned something. And now I'm like, I don't know how I didn't put that together myself. But the dog on Carousel of Progress, the dog in Living with the Land Outside the House, and the dog on Pirates of the Caribbean is the same dog. And I was like, oh my God, of course it is. Never thought of that. Iconic. What an amazing dog. He's everywhere. He's a Disney icon. He needs his own pin. We need to start a petition. The dog needs a pin. It's so good. Ooh. Oh, Louise says there's a meet and greet and photo opportunity that's downstairs by the kids club. So you've been told for the Disneyland hotel. That would be amazing because that really does make the hotel next level, isn't it? Because when you're paying such a premium, you do want those unique experiences for you. And a meet and greet is the best way to do it. So that's fantastic. So we need you to report back. It'll be so, so good. Oh, let's have a look. Ooh. Lumburn says, "We'll be staying at the Cheyenne Hotel. Do you recommend the hotel breakfast? I really want to go to Phantom Manor as well." So, when it comes to Disneyland Paris, I think if you are not vegan or don't have allergies, I think the breakfasts are great because there's lots of options. It's fantastic. If you have any dietary requirements, they still have options for you, but because there's fewer options for the price tag, I don't always think it's worthwhile. However, if it's something you've already added to your booking, there's definitely stuff you can get. And if you don't have any dietary requirements, you can really, really fill up. It's really, really great. And they have lots of variety. They have hot and cold options. Fantastic. But yeah, I always skip breakfast at Disneyland Paris just because for the price, I don't feel like I would have enough options. So I just take something with me instead. But I think it just depends on what you eat and yeah, but I do think it's nice to be able to just pop down to your hotel in the morning and fill up and then get to the parks all fueled up. Or some people do the opposite. They'll go in the park for extra magic hours and then after they've been in the park for an hour or two, they'll pop back to the hotel then and have breakfast. And I'm like, wow, this is also a good option because then you've kind of missed the breakfast rush, but you're still getting the breakfast experience and you've got on the rides with far fewer people, which is great, which is so good. So he said, if you had to choose one ride to do all day, which ride would it be? And yeah, I think I'm going to stick with Phantom Manor. I think it has to be, or like Haunted Mansion, because it's very well. It shouldn't be relaxing, but I do find it quite relaxing. And I'm just like hanging out with the ghosts. I like the soundtrack. Um, also, if you need a nap, you're in the dark. I think it's got a lot of things going for it. It'll be so good. But I'm trying to think. I do also love pirates, I do love the idea of the little drops. I just think they're just thrilling enough to be good. The soundtrack's great. Um, I think it'd be harder to sleep because every now and then you'd have like a little pirate screaming at you, but it's good. Do you know one of my favorite things is Pirates doesn't have a height restriction, and a few times now I've seen newborn babies on Pirates of the Caribbean, and I wish they could speak because I would love to know what they think. Because Because one minute they're asleep in a hotel room, the next minute they're going down a drop and there's a pirate screaming at them. And I just, they must be like, I don't know what's happening. It must be so confusing. It's amazing. NW says, going in January to Santa Fe and was wondering the same thing about the breakfast. And yes, I think they're a really, really good option. Like I say, if you don't have dietary requirements, if you are vegan, there are definitely things that you can have there. And what's good is where it's a buffet, you can get as much of those things as you like. So it's not like you're going to starve or there's not going to be enough options. There's definitely enough. It's just that there's not as much variety as for other people. But yes, there's definitely more than enough to fill up on, which will be good. Kid also says for 24 hours, the only ride would be Pirates, relaxing and calm. Any other ride would annoy you at a certain point, which is so true, isn't it? That's the thing. It's like, which one can I endure for that long? Hi, Serena. Thank you so much for joining us. Loving the name change. That's very exciting. But how are you? It's always such a joy to hear from you. Loving Pirates is your fave. Disney California is your favorite version. It's so good, isn't it? The one in California. And I filmed it. And when you're on it, I don't think you realize how long it is. When I got home and I was editing, it's 15 minutes long, which is amazing. And I love that you have that extra bit at the beginning where you're in all the caves and stuff like that. It's just so, so, so cool. And again, like I love if you've ever seen on Disney Plus Behind the Attraction, love those shows and hearing stuff. And it was great to hear that the California version, at the very, very beginning, you have the drop. And that's because actually where Pirates of the Caribbean is situated is right next to the railroad. And the drop is so that you can actually go underneath the railroad and then get into the show building for the ride. And I'm like, oh, that's so cool. And then at the very end, you come back up so that you're back in the park where you left from, which I think is so cool because you would have no idea unless you kind of watched the program. And I always think that, isn't it? It's funny how, again, it's really clever how people do it, Disney do it. So like when you go on Phantom Manor or Haunted Mansion and stuff like that, it very much feels like you're still in that building. Like you would have no clue that you've gone somewhere else to go on the ride. And I'm like, of course it makes sense because when you think of the scale of those rides, they couldn't be inside those buildings. But it's incredible that you would have no clue. It's just so, so, so well done. Absolutely love it. Yes, Victoria also liked the Jungle Cruise film. Haunted Mansion Muppets film was hilarious. The screaming goat got me every time. This is the thing. I am obsessed with, because as we all know, I'm not a big fan of the live action remakes. However, if they went Beauty and the Beast Muppet version, 100% on board. Every Disney film, and even like Star Wars, Marvel Muppet version. Yes, I want to see this. Can you imagine? Endgame Muppets. All of the Muppets that have ever existed in Endgame. I think this needs to happen. I wish Disney would do more with the Muppets because now they own it. I'm like, it's so good. And like it still works so well. So when you had stuff like the Haunted Mansion Muppet special, it was so nice because it was something new. And I was like, this shows how much the Muppets still work and people love it. Which is so good. Yes, Kid says Pirates is my favourite ride. It definitely does not feel dated. I get so excited talking about Pirates. Yes, it's just so good, isn't it? Like, and it is baffling how, like we say, if they'd said we made this ride 2-3 years ago, you'd go, yeah, sure. Like you wouldn't think it was so long ago. And I'm like, it's just amazing. It's so good. I will never also get over the time when Johnny Depp was actually in the ride in California, and people were like, "Oh, that's very good animatronic," and it was like, "It's actually him." Whereas I don't think anyone's going, "Oh, that's Walt Disney." They're like, Something looks off here." We've got to sort that out. Victoria, yes, they did do a Tower of Terror film, and it's available on YouTube. It's not great. Okay, I might have to check it out. But I'm glad they're doing another version because they're like, this didn't work, so let's do a better version. Oh, Michelle says, have you ever done the behind the scenes tour? Would you recommend? And yes, I really, really, really enjoyed it. It was so great to go in the greenhouses. And I feel like you learned a lot. And the fact it's $30, I think is absolutely amazing. And you even got to try some of the foods. So they gave us some cucumber that had been grown there. And it was literally the best cucumber I've ever tasted. And I was like, this is ridiculous. How's this happening? And they also take you to a secret hidden Mickey that you can't see from the boats. And it's wild because it's literally right next to the boats. but they've angled it in a way that you can't see it, but you get to have your photo taken with it, which is great. The only bit I wasn't keen on as a vegan was the fish bit. And you have the option to feed the fish or not. So I chose not to. And it's difficult because the whole point of living with the land and also the backstage tour is to kind of talk about how humans need to work together with the land to not create destruction and stuff like that. And then it just feels a bit weird to then go, here's some fish that we're about to murder. Then you go, doesn't really fit the message of like, don't cause harm to the environment, but then do whatever you want, it's fine. Like, so that was the only bit that I didn't enjoy. And I know actually a lot of people, even people not vegan, are kind of like, I wish they'd get rid of the fish part because again, it just has that weird juxtaposition where it doesn't fit with the message of the rest of it. But I would totally recommend it. We had an amazing guide. It was one of my favorite things I've done. And the fact it's $30 for a backstage tour, I think is great. And I also did Caring for Giants over in Animal Kingdom. And that was so interesting because again, you got to go backstage. We saw the elephants up close, but then they also really went into depth about how they take care of the animal enrichment, all of those things. And that was something I was so interested to hear about because I typically don't visit zoos, and I'm like, if we're frank, Animal Kingdom is a zoo, so I'm like, how do I feel about this? So it was really nice to actually go backstage and hear what they do, and it was really interesting. Like they were saying stuff, and I was like, I would never have thought of this, but something they do is they will give edible glitter in the food for the elephants, and then what they do is they monitor the poop of the elephants, and they can tell which elephant it is based on the color of the glitter. And they will check stuff like their cortisol level to see are they stressed out, and if they are, like what can we be doing? Do they need more stimulation? Do they need more enrichment? What can we do? And I'm like, that made me feel so much better about the fact that they're kind of really going to lengths to try and make sure they are happy and cared for well. And the fact that you got to see all of their roaming areas and stuff. And again, $30, which I think is fantastic. Because I think people always think any kind of backstage tour or anything will be really expensive. And it isn't always. There's a few tours that are $30. Or even stuff like the haircut at Harmony Barbershop. I think it's like $24. And I'm like, what a cool experience. I loved doing that. I got the pixie dust. It was amazing. You can actually just go in there and ask for the pixie dust. That's free. Yeah, I don't think everything that's a unique experience has to be expensive at Disney. But I don't think they kind of advertise it enough, which is amazing. Oh yes, so Kid says the Tower of Terror with Scarlett Johansson sounds so cool, and the original Tower of Terror is on YouTube. I need to find this because it just sounds not good. It's hysterical. Um, it was made by a different company. Oh, that's very interesting. Oh, it wasn't Disney. That is very interesting. I definitely need to check that out because that sounds wild. Serena says Disneyland Paris Isle of Sandwich is a good budget-friendly option in Disney Village, and that's so true because the food can be a little bit pricey in Disneyland Paris. So it is really nice to know where you can get cheaper options and lots of different varieties. That's really good. Oh my god, I love that kid. You're going to take your new baby sister on Pirates. I cannot wait to hear what she thinks and what her faces were, how she was feeling, because it's got to be an experience. And they're just like, I don't know what's going on. It's like, have you ever seen clips of like a baby in a car and they'll go through a tunnel and they're like, what's happening to me? I feel like they must be like that on Pirates of the Caribbean. It's so fun. Alison says, maybe I should try and arrange 24 hours on It's a Small World challenge and we could do it for charity if Disney allowed. That would be absolutely iconic. And I actually would love that. I love It's a Small World. I don't get bored of the song. I would be so up for this. I think I could, I think it's possible. I think we could do it. I think we could do it. And what an amazing way, because obviously It's a Small World already has such a big tie to charity. And anyone that throws coins in to like it's not a wishing well, but like any part of the ride, basically, that all goes towards charity. And has anyone also heard the newly added final verse for It's a Small World? I just think it's so cute. It literally made me cry. I can't wait to experience it in person. And I also think it's amazing that it was kind of Richard Sherman's last ever thing he did just before he passed away was write this final verse. And then for the 70th anniversary, they've added it into Disneyland, but I think they've also added it into Disney World, and I'm sure it's going to get spread to all the other Disney parks. And it's just such a beautiful little verse, and I'm like, oh my god, how amazing! So yeah, it's just iconic, and I think that would be such an amazing thing to do. Muppets Endgame sounds so hilarious. Can you imagine how much fun that would be? And then the problem is, all night now we're going to be thinking which Muppet will play which character, and that would be amazing. But we need to know. Oh, this is a good question. So NW says, are there any vegan options at all? So there's no options that are specifically marked as vegan. There is a veggie sandwich, but you do need to make accommodations. So like switching out the sauce, they will be able to assist you. But because there's so many modifications to make, I typically skip over it. Which is a shame. Hopefully in the long run they will bring something. Because I think they're noticing there's more and more want for it, particularly at the Disneyland Paris Earl of Sandwich, because so many people visit now from all over the world, lots of them vegan. And when the parks have so many options, it makes sense that Disney Village try and catch up. So, like, Annette's have started doing a vegan breakfast, they've got a vegan burger. So, you're starting to see some places in Disney Village like go, oh, we're going to add vegan options, which is great. Kid says literally the Captain Jack animatronics are so lifelike it trips me out sometimes, especially finding out he went to Disney and pretended to be an animatronic. It's so fun. I loved watching the video of people on the boats being like, "Oh, it's good, isn't it?" And then like he'd talk to them, and even though he would be like man in the blue shirt, they still didn't get that it was actually him. And I'm like, I wonder what he thought, because it must be that thing of like, oh my god, I'm going to surprise people and it'll be so fun. And then no one realizing it was actually him. I wonder if he was like, "Oh, no one realized," or if he thought, "Wow, that's an amazing animatronic." If people don't realize, I don't know if you've also seen, um, in Disneyland they have the amazing Captain Jack Sparrow, who looks more like Captain Jack Sparrow than Johnny Depp does, which I don't understand how it works, but it's incredible. And I didn't spot him when I was in Disneyland, but I'm hoping one day it will happen because he's so good, so good. Karen says, I've not done the backstage tour, but love living with the land. And as a vegan, I agree about the fish part too. And that's the thing, is it? Like living with the land is just iconic. And again, if you said to like non-Disney people, do you want to go on a boat ride that goes through greenhouses and they talk about like sustainability? You'd be like, that's in a theme park. But it's brilliant. It's so good. And it's so interesting going in the greenhouses. And I love when they have the little signs up and they'll tell you, like, this is served in this dish in this restaurant, or if it's food and wine, at what booth it's served at. And I think it's great when you can, and like different restaurants around the parks will say, like, living with the land salad or whatever. So you can actually see, like, this was grown at Disney, which is so awesome. And it's so unique. I think it's fantastic. Oh, it's so good. But I've still got some more things to go through. This is very exciting. Um, oh, Chris has asked this, and this is a really good question. What is the one thing at Disney you haven't done that you were surprised you haven't done? And I think this is so hard because I'm like, I don't know the answer to this. But there must be things that I have. What things haven't I done that I'm surprised I haven't done? Like, to be honest, I am surprised I haven't gone to the Asian parks yet, because they do look so amazing and I love everything about them. And it is wild. Like, I'm sure I could just get over the hurdle of them not having many vegan options and, taking my own stuff with me. But I'm surprised I haven't been yet, because I do love the idea of it. I'm trying to think what else could I have done. But this is a really good question, because it's one of those like hard to think of ones, because there's stuff that I haven't done that I'd like to do, but I'm not necessarily surprised I haven't done it, because obviously it depends on maybe the time of year you visit, if it's available or not, or costing, stuff like that. But do you know what I'd love to do? Which again I can't believe I haven't done it. Is hoop to do. I think that looks such a riot. It looks so much fun. And I remember years and years and years ago when I went when I was 7 to Disney World for the first time, I did the luau at the Polynesian. And I loved it, and I know that's not there anymore, which is super sad, but Hoop-de-Doo looks iconic, and, I'm surprised I haven't gone and done that, because I love the kind of immersive element of it, and, that would definitely be on the bucket list to do. It's so good. Hi, Chloe! Thank you so much for joining us! Oh, this is great. Could you do an essentials in the park, what to pack kind of video? As someone not in the US, it's hard to know what to pack for a trip in general versus what's needed daily. And yes, do you know what's interesting? Probably about, oh, it might have even been 3 years ago. I did a video that like what's in my day bag, my backpack. So I definitely think doing an updated version would be great because obviously over time it changes. And I think you're so right. It's really interesting to see like what do you need to take and what don't you need to take? Because I am an overpacker, and there's a many things I've taken to Disney that I've not needed. So they've travelled all around the world and I've never used them. So I think it'd be really good to go, actually, these things I found essential. These things have enhanced my trip. These I never use. So you can skip them. I think that would be really good. So thank you for such a great video idea. And like I say, if people ever have ideas for videos, or even stuff like with the most magical guides where I'm doing like the dining booking and the itinerary planning, if there's anything where you're like, this is a thing that trips me up when I'm going to Disney, or this is a question I always have, do let me know because it's great to know if there's like videos that I could be making or anything like that that can help people out. So a cat might join us in a minute. So if you like cats, this is going to be very exciting. It's going to be amazing. Kid says, "Oh my gosh, my family and I got into a long conversation with Captain Jack in Disneyland. We caught him all by himself on Tom Sawyer Island, and then he rode back on the raft with us. What an incredible experience that must have been!" I love that so much about Disneyland because where you have the roaming characters, you do get these amazing moments that you just don't get anywhere else. And like, what an amazing memory to have forever now. That's so cool. He said your son was asking him if he knew the character on his backpack. Saw from Kingdom Hearts, and Captain Jack started making subtle references to Kingdom Hearts, like it feels like a distant memory. It was the most amazing interaction with a character I've ever experienced. That sounds amazing. Because, like you say, the fact that like your son's had this incredible moment with him, and he just made it so special. That is amazing. I absolutely love that. I remember once being in Disney World, and I'd just got off of the teacups, and Alice turned up and got on the ride, and she just asked the family, "Can I ride with you?" and was in the teacups with them. And it's just like, can you imagine how awesome that must be? So I'm so glad you've had that experience because that is so cool. And I think that's the great thing about character interactions is you're like, they are so memorable because they're all so unique, and it really feels like you're talking to a character and engaging with them as that character. And I absolutely love that because it just makes it so special. Jamie says the feet tip video was so good. I'm trying compression socks on the next video. This is the thing. I have been through everything with my feet and they've suffered so much. And it's weird because obviously the thing that everyone always talks about is get the correct shoes, but it's such a trial and error. It's like it literally is a Cinderella moment of like, this one's too big, this one's too small, this one doesn't have enough support, that one is too like it's not spongy enough. Like it's a nightmare. And I've been to like the running shops where they actually measure where your weight goes in your feet and your gait and everything, and it still was having problems. But these little things that are all like less than £8 made such a difference. And particularly the silicone heel protectors. If you get blisters, don't bother, because I would always take like blister plasters and stuff like that, which are great when you already have blisters, but you already have blisters. And like sometimes I would preemptively put them on. But sorry, the cats are stealing my notes, so I just have to take them back. Sorry, Jeff, they're my notes. Thank you. um And again, they just didn't kind of work, whereas the silicone heel protector is amazing. But the compression socks are great because being able to take that swelling down from the soles of your feet, which I didn't even really think about the fact that your soles of your feet swell. But once I started using them, the difference is huge. And you just wake up and your feet are all refreshed. It's so lovely. It's so good. Oh, let me have a little look. Um, Jaffa is just making biscuits. And what's funny is, you know, when cats make their little biscuits, because his name's Jaffa, I always say he's making Jaffa cakes. So he's going to be able to sell them. His bakery will probably open sometime soon when he can get around to it. It'll be amazing. Oh, it's so exciting. Chloe is heading to Disney World for the first time in November. You're going to have such a blast. It is such an amazing destination. There's just so much to see and do. It's like everything you've dreamed about with Disney, but on steroids. Like, it's so big, so bright, and it's just such a joy to go and experience. So I can't wait for you to have the most amazing time. It's just the best. Oh, Victoria, that's such a good idea. Top 10 favorite Disney items of clothing that I own. I would love that. And this is the thing, I own probably too many Disney clothes, but like you said, there's definitely ones where you go, "Oh, that's like my favorite t-shirt. That's my favorite sweatshirt." There's definitely favorites. So that would be such a fun video. And I've been trying to do some more like shorts and TikTok videos because I just think it's so fun to do kind of like because not everyone wants to always have to sit and watch like the long videos. So to be like short ones where it's like little tips and advice or funny things or like stuff like this, like your 10 favorite outfits, I think it's so good. So I would definitely need to do more of these. Yeah, the Alice thing was so cool to see, and like what amazing and that's the thing, even for me, it was an amazing memory. So I can only imagine how awesome it is for the actual people in the teacup. It's so good. Oh, thank you so much, Anne-Marie, for joining us. It was so lovely to see you. I hope you have a lovely rest of your day. And Kid says, "You've worn thick-soled shoes every time and the only one without feet pain at the end of the night. The platform tennis shoes with 3 or more inches." And yes, I think that's the thing, isn't it? Once you find what shoes work for you, it's perfect because then you're like, right, this is the one, and I need to just keep buying ones that are this or very, very similar. And yeah, there's definitely shoes I've found that are more comfortable, but because I have problems with my feet anyway, like with the plantar fasciitis and stuff, it is like a Cinderella moment of trying to find out which one's going to work. And some of them, like, they'll feel comfortable when you buy them in the store, but then once you wear them for a while in the park, you're like, this isn't as comfortable as I thought it was going to be, and it's a nightmare. So the hunt will continue until I found the perfect shoe. It's so good. Kid also said, "I can't wait to go to Epcot one day. A video of your Disney collection would be amazing." Yes, that would be so much fun. Oh, Jamie says, "Would love to see you trying to recreate your favorite Disney food at home." That would be so much fun because that's the thing, isn't it? There's some dishes that you've had at Disney or like snacks and stuff, and you're like, "Oh, I miss this. I wish I could do it." So I think that would be so much fun. And like, what a cool idea. Downside, I'm not a great cook. Like, I can do things, but you know, are they particularly advanced? Not particularly. But I actually think that would be really fun because actually, when you're doing stuff at home, you don't want it to be like, "I've got to sous vide this for 4 hours." I don't really know what that means, but I've heard people say it. Um, so being able to do like your Disney favorites at home would be amazing. So I definitely like stuff like the tachos at Woody's Lunchbox. I definitely think I could do that, and that would be awesome. And like, there's definitely other options. This is so good. That's a brilliant video idea. Karen says, "Was in Disneyland once with a family and a crying child. Mary Poppins walked by and said, 'Is there any problem?' All the crying ended immediately." That's hilarious. That's so much fun. But sometimes you need that, isn't it? Like just a little bit of Disney magic and then all the tears stop. I remember actually when I was in Disneyland and Cruella de Vil was walking down Main Street and Mickey and Pluto were walking up Main Street. And Cruella kept trying to kidnap Pluto because obviously he's a dog. And I was like, this is hysterical. And it's really fun as well because normally you would never see like Mickey interact with a villain or like someone like Cruella de Vil. So that was so fun. And again, I think that's something that's really unique and amazing about Disneyland because you just don't get that anywhere else. Oh, Victoria said you did that today. You didn't get a chance to try the vegan lobster roll in the studio, so you made your own version today and it turned out all right. That sounds so tasty. And what did you use as the lobster substitute? I'd love to know, but I think that would be really, really great because, like you said, there's so many good dishes. And when there's one you've missed out on, it's like, okay, I'm going to make this so I can get a little taste of Disney at home. Alison said during COVID, each month Chris and I would recreate a food and wine menu item, making it veggie where necessary. That is great because some of those food and wine options are unreal. They a couple of years ago had these buffalo Brussels sprouts, and I still think about them. And the guava cake. Guava cake is unreal. It's so good. So that's such a great way to bring Disney to your home. But yes, Kid has said a whole series of vegan Disneyland food at home. I always want to make vegan Disney food at home just to feel the sparkle magic at home. Yes, and like the food in Disneyland is next level amazing, isn't it? It's really, really tasty, really fresh, really good, and really good value compared to other Disney parks as well. I had some incredible tacos from Rancho del Zocalo. Unreal, absolutely unreal. And I would love to do that at home because they were so tasty. I absolutely love them. I've also got a question here from the vegan mother and daughter, which I love that. That is a very, very cute name. It says, as recent new followers, who is Sophie? And I'm like, that's such a good question because then I start thinking, who am I? Who am I? But I think that's so much fun because it's nice to kind of get a glimpse behind the curtain of like what makes this person tick. Who are they? Um, but yeah, like I say, being a Disney lover my whole life, it's just been ingrained since childhood. And I've always, always, always loved it. Huge, huge animal lover. Also love stuff like theatre. Go to the theatre as much as I can. Love the cinema. I try to go to the cinema once a week actually. Um, and set myself a little challenge. Like, can I see 52 films a year? So I will see a lot of films. Um, love travel, as I say. Like, I just think there's something so special about getting to experience new places, new culture. But there is still nowhere that beats Disney to me because it just is a different feeling. You just don't get anywhere else. But I'm also someone I'm very, very. I'm just fortunate. I've always been just a very upbeat, optimistic person. And it feels like it's the best like combination because being at Disney is already exciting, and then I come in like a ball of like excitement anyway, and I'm like it's like leveling up. And I'm like we could probably charge like an electric grid with the level of excitement. So I've always been really thankful, and I don't know how people become who they are, but I've always felt very fortunate that just naturally I've been quite optimistic, quite upbeat. Um, used to do a lot of dancing. Now, not like on a proper level. Like obviously as a kid you do all of your tap, ballet, and jazz, but when I was living in London, so basically I'm from Portsmouth, but went to university, and then after university moved to London. I lived in London for about 8 years, and whilst I was living in London, I was going to Pineapple Dance Studio. So if you know anything about dance, or if you're in the UK, maybe you saw the documentary series. Used to go and dance there. It was amazing. However, I was not doing like hip hop, jazz, proper dancing. I was doing a Michael Jackson dance class. It was a lot of fun. It was all of like, like the Thriller routine and Beat It and stuff like that. It was great. Used to go 3 times a week. It was like totally my jam. So everything revolved around that. Like I was like, I'm gonna have to leave work early today because otherwise I will miss my dance class. Very much enjoyed that. Since I've come back to Portsmouth, there aren't many adult dance classes. Because I would love to do more dance classes. I do love dancing. But also, as we're talking about dancing, today's also a very special day because it is the 27th of July, which means it's 13 years since the London Olympic opening ceremony. And because of Pineapple, I was able to be a dancer in the opening ceremony. So when I was doing my Michael Jackson dance class, a Pineapple would always have a notice board up of auditions and stuff like that. And they did have a notice about the Olympics, and that in the big letters it had like no experience necessary, and I was like, that sounds like I could do it. So I did go along to the auditions, and the auditions were really fun actually because you did a mixture of dance and movement and then facial expressions, because they weren't just casting dancers, they were also casting actors for the industrial revolution scene at the beginning, and also what they called games makers, who were people that were in the audience that kind of get the audience hyped up. But luckily, I managed to become a dancer in it. So I was in the 80s and 90s section, in the section called Thanks Tim, which was all about the music of the UK. So I was dancing to like Firestarter and Blur and stuff like that, which was really, really fun. Um, and it was just such an incredible experience. It's just, the ability to let ordinary people do something so extraordinary and take part in one of the biggest shows on earth. I think it was something like 1.2 billion people watched it, which is absolutely insane. It was just amazing. And what was really nice as well is Daniel Boyle directed it, who obviously directed like 28 Days Later and The Beach and stuff like that. And he would come to every rehearsal. So over time, you'd get to hang out with him. And what was also really fun is afterwards, it was nominated for a lot of like theatre or production awards. And it's a thing called the What's on Stage Awards, which is a big theatre award ceremony. And they had sent an email out, and they were like, if you were part of it and you'd like to come along, do let us know because we've got some seats. So me and 2 friends applied, and we were the only people from our section of the opening ceremony to go. And they asked us if you would turn up in your costume, so we did. And then our choreographer was there because obviously he was going to be nominated for an award. And as he was walking up, he obviously saw our costumes, so came and spoke to us and like, what have you been up to since? Because this was a few months later. And then he was on the phone. He's like, oh, my friend's just coming to join us. He'll be a few minutes. And it was Danny Boyle. So we got to go and hang out and talk to Danny Boyle for a bit. And that was so, so wonderful. So yeah, just so many amazing memories. Like unbelievable to get to be part of something like that, particularly someone who isn't a trained dancer. And yeah, so today is always a very, very special day. Although I can't believe it's 13 years ago. Like, how is that possible? How? It's just bonkers. Oh, Chloe, that's so lovely. I love how joyful and energetic you are. Thank you for all the amazing videos. That's so, so kind. Thank you so, so much. And it's genuinely so lovely when people are so generous with their comments. So thank you so much. Victoria, you said you got the heart of palm from Sainsbury's as it comes in a tin. We used the Sainsbury's vegan mayo, added paprika over herbs, red onion, and spring onions, mixed it together and put it in a crusty baguette. That sounds so good. I need to try this. Oh, kid, don't. I get the Vauntillus wrap every single visit. It's a must for me. It's so good. That's the thing that really stood out to me. And like I to this day still dream about that. I'm like, I wish they'd bring it to Disney World because it's just unreal. That's the best thing I've ever eaten in any Disney park. It is unbelievable. So it's so amazing you get to have it every time you visit. That's so good. Brenda, this is a great question. Is the Disneyland Paris food getting better? And I do think over time it is. I think they're trying to make the dishes more interesting and diversifying them. So what's nice is that it's not all typical theme park fare. If you want something that's familiar and you would expect to get in a theme park, they have it. If you're looking for something a bit different, they have that as well. And I do think the quality is starting to get better. So I'm hoping that this is all positive. And they do often listen to feedback, so hopefully they are seeing people being like, oh, you know, for the price I'd like the quality to be a bit better, and they will start trying to implement that. So it's getting there. It's getting there. Hi Kyle, lovely to see you. And yes, I'm from the UK, so if you do have any Disney questions, do let us know. And yes, Victoria, it was such an amazing experience. And like I say, like there was 10,000 volunteer performers. Um, in my section there was 1,800, so there was a lot of us. And again, just regular normal people from across the UK. We had 4 months of rehearsals, and it was a very interesting time for me. And it actually took a few years to really look back on it fondly, because just before we started the rehearsals, like literally like a few weeks before we started the rehearsals, I ended up having an infection that turned into sepsis. So I was in hospital, emergency operation in the middle of the night, and they basically, I don't know how it worked, but they drilled, dug out, used a melon baller, something, like tunnel, like a hole into my back. So for 6 weeks, I had to have it packed every single day by a nurse, and it was like a long recovery. And actually, I had a lot of ill health afterwards, which at the time I just kind of didn't link to the fact it's probably because I had sepsis. Because obviously sepsis is in your blood, so it's going to have an impact, right? But literally 3 weeks after having the emergency operation was when the rehearsal started, and I was like, I'm not going to miss out. So I would do an hour and a half tube to get over to Dagenham to rehearse, hour and a half back, and then I would literally have to lie down for like a week to recover. And then throughout it, I started getting motion sick. That's now one of the reasons. Well, actually, I was getting chronic migraines as well. It was all going on. It was all going on. This is why it took me a while to look back on it and not remember all of the difficult things that were going on, because I had the sepsis. I was getting chronic migraines. The chronic migraines caused the motion sickness. I was getting motion sick every single time I went to and from rehearsals because it was so long on the tube. My nan passed away just before the like a month before the Olympics happened, so there was a lot going on. So the first couple of years it was that yin and yang of like, it was the best thing I've ever done, but also a really difficult time. Whereas now I can look back on it and I'm just like, oh, all the great memories. It was so, so, so good. Oh, Kyle says, I'm going next week for 12 nights. We'll need data, but don't know how to go about getting a SIM card, as Tesco Home With doesn't cover America. So what a lot of people do instead is they will get an eSIM. And I haven't used an eSIM, but from what I know about them is you can download them like an app on your phone. And then you use the app to connect to data, which seems great. And a lot of people do that because it's a much more affordable way of doing it. Because my mobile provider is EE, and they used to do it that if you went to America, it was £20 extra a month, but you could use your phone exactly like you did in the UK. So all of the data, calls, text. However, they've now changed it to £25 a week, which is a lot. So a lot of people have been switching to eSIM. So I definitely look into that because that can be a really, really good solution. And it means you'll be able to use your phone, and it's a lot cheaper than having to get a different like provider or a SIM card specifically just for using in the US. So I'd definitely use that, which will be great. And just have an amazing time as well. It's so exciting that you're going so soon. Like that's going to be absolutely awesome. And yeah, anytime people are going to Disney, it's just the best because you're just going to have the most amazing memories made. And particularly Disney World, like I say, it's just so awesome there. I love it. Oh, let's have a little look. Oh, I'm gonna dive into some more of my questions. Oh, we covered some of these, which I think is very exciting. But this is something I think is interesting because I was thinking about this. What things do you love outside of Disney? Because I've started to notice there's a big crossover between things. So weirdly, people that like horror films and people that like Disney, there's a big crossover. Or like people that like rock music and Disney, big crossover. I like all of those things. One that's probably not a surprise, obviously musical theatre, Disney, makes sense. But I'm wondering if there's any things that you love that you've noticed, oh, there's a big crossover between like this community and people that love Disney. Because it's funny, isn't it? Because I don't think people would put like horror fans with Disney, but there's so much crossover, which is absolutely wild. Hi, it's so good to see you. Thank you for joining. But thank you so much. Like, we will do more meetups, and I'm sure we will get to meet up in person. But yes, it will be absolutely fantastic to meet you because you are such joys. So yes, that'll be awesome. And yes, Kyle, I hope the eSIM works out because it does seem like the best and easiest solution, which is great. So I hope you get one that is absolutely perfect for what you need. And thank you so much for watching the videos because yeah, it's just the greatest joy to get to pass on all the tips and stuff I've picked up over the years because that's actually kind of exactly why I started Most Magical Guides is that I love obviously Disney and I love the planning part, but I'm not even kidding. Like, so typically I used to book trips like 2 years in advance, or at least be thinking about booking. And then when the deal comes out, you can typically book between a year and like 18 months in advance or whatever. And I would literally spend every hour like in the evenings, lunch breaks, just looking up like tips, advice, blogs, vlogs, absolutely everything to get the most out of the trips whilst I was out there. And I literally created like hundreds of spreadsheets. It was absolutely psychotic. And over the years, you would start to find out like, oh, that tip works really well. That one isn't relevant anymore. That doesn't work for me. And you kind of got a sense of like what worked and what didn't. And then I'd go to Disney and meet people and have these amazing chats, and they were having a great time, but they were missing out on so much just because they didn't have the access to the information. And there was one specific couple who were on their honeymoon and they were having a great time, but then they were like, "Oh, yesterday we waited 3 hours to go on this ride, and all of the restaurants we wanted to go in were fully booked and we couldn't get reservations." And I was just thinking, "Oh God, because it's their honeymoon, it's so special." And they would have spent so much money on it, and it's so sad they were missing out on things. So I came back and I was like, right, I'm going to start like finding a way to put the tips and the advice out there because I kind of think of it as kind of like if you're going hiking, bear with me. Like I have been down the valley, I've gone down all of the different winding routes, I've found the dead ends, the bits that don't work, the scary cliff, and it's like, oh no, this is all going wrong. I've done all of those things and eventually got to the peak, and over the years found out what works really well. So I was like, if I can be like a bridge, so people don't have to go in the valleys and the dead ends, they can just go straight to the peak. That is the aim for Most Magical Guides. And I wanted to kind of make a range of different things. So like the videos are there as a free resource for people that do love the planning. Because I think part of the fun of a Disney trip is the planning and like planning what outfits you're going to wear and stuff. Like when you go on other trips, like you have to pack, fine, but you don't start thinking months in advance what your outfits might be. Whereas Disney, it's very much like that. So I always think the videos are great for people that love to do the DIY planning themselves and they've got the time. Maybe their trip's far enough in advance that they can look everything up and then see what works for them. And then the other stuff like the Zoom calls or the dining or the concierge service are great for people that don't have the time to be able to look through everything, or maybe they've been looking through things and they've been getting conflicting advice, because there's loads of advice out there and loads of good advice, but sometimes it's not the right advice for you and how you're going to visit, which is definitely stuff that I encountered. Um, and it's nice to be able to give people advice that's specifically tailored for them and how they're visiting. So I'm like, yeah, if I could be like the little bridge to get you to, like I was saying earlier, like that magical feeling, and the planning helps you get there so that you don't have the stress, everything's planned, you know what you're doing, and you can just experience the magic. Whereas I think the people that don't do the planning, they can miss out on the magic because they're waiting in queues for ages. They're missing out on dining. They didn't know there was this show on that they could see. So then they go and they might come away disappointed because they just missed out on things. So I'm like, that's the aim. That is the aim. We want everyone to have the most amazing trips. And I was so lucky because every time I go now, it's just like, I'm like, I can't believe every trip is better than the last. 'Cause I'm like, how is that even possible? But it's just, I think having that knowledge and being able to apply it makes a difference. So it's so good. Zoe, you've said this is so true. Love heavy metal, and people ask me all the time, how do you like both? But there's, again, it's such a big crossover, isn't it? And there's so many people that love metal music and Disney. I don't know how it's happened, but it has happened. Victoria, you love true crime and Disney, rock and punk music and Disney, ADHD, autism and Disney, big crossovers for sure. Totally agree. It's so true, isn't it? It's like, it is so interesting because some things, like you say, like true crime and Disney do not seem to fit at all. But there's a lot of people that love both, and we're all making it work. Oh, Jill. Hi, Jill. Thank you so much for joining us. It's lovely to see you. This is a great tip. Jill has said to Kyle, haven't tried any of these, but saw these eSIMs on Martin Lewis Money Saving Expert, Breeze, Amigo, and Easy Sim. That's so, so helpful because it's really good to know brands that are recommended. So thank you so much, Jill, because that is going to be incredible. Oh, Alison said you love Cirque du Soleil, and now they have an amazing Disney show Drawn to Life, which is awesome. And I think that's the thing, isn't it? I think people don't realise. Do you remember a couple of years ago, actually, part of the offer was that you got the dining and merchandise credit, which was the best. RIP. I hope they bring it back one day. You got the gift card, and you got tickets to the Drawn to Life show. And I'm like, that is so amazing. And like you say, the great crossover between Cirque du Soleil, who always put incredible shows on, and a mixture of Disney, and you get to see it at Disney. Awesome. It's so good. Karen has said, definitely love film and musical theatre. Always love the feeling of Disney, like you're immersed in a wonderful film set. And that's the thing, isn't it? Like you're getting to see these things that you've seen on screen come to life and experience them, which I think is so wonderful. And yeah, it's just there's no one like it. Like I say, even at the theme parks aren't really like it. And I do think like Epic Universe is the first theme park that has tried to emulate some of the immersion that you get at Disney. I don't think it's the same level quite yet, but I also think it's because a lot of Disney Imagineers that left Disney during the pandemic went to work on Epic Universe. So you're starting to see them bring their ideas and creativity to that. And like it's always great. Like I don't think anyone will ever top Disney because Disney have been doing it since day one. It's been a core part of the Disney parks, and even stuff like when we were in the pandemic, there was an online course. It was made for children, but it was free, so I was taking it, and it was all about Imagineers had created this course for kids to get their imagination going during the pandemic, and they had to create a land for a Disney park. But it was stuff like, what scent do you want pumped into the land to make it feel real? What type of tiles would you have on the floor? What type of doorknobs would you have? And it's like that level of detail that I think is incredible that like no one else is doing. And like here in the UK, if you go to a theme park, it's super fun. You've got rides and you have a good time, but it literally is just that you're just walking between rides and there's not much else. There might sometimes be a show, but it's just not the same. Like Disney really have like nailed the whole experience. But that being said, I am super keen to go to Epic Universe and see what it's like Dark Universe, that crossover between horror and theme parks. I just think like so much fun. And yeah, like what a great long time coming thing. But I'm also very excited for Villains Land in Magic Kingdom. And I'm really excited to see how that will get incorporated into Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party. Because they're obviously going to do it, but how are they going to do it? And also, what would the Villains Land be like during the Christmas party? Like that might even be even more interesting. Like, how do you get villains into the Christmas spirit, or are they not? Like, I just think it's so exciting. So I just think, what a time to be alive. Like, it's, I think that's the thing, isn't it? It's great to have healthy competition between Disney and Universal, because it just means they have to both keep pushing the boundaries, keep upping their game, and then we're the ultimate winners. So I'm very excited for, like, the next couple of years are going to be wild, because like we say, Disney World, lots of new things are happening. Disneyland Paris, new things are happening. We're having the whole UK Universal, which is going to be amazing. So I just can't wait. It's going to be so good. As we're talking about the crossover between, like, horror, rock, and Disney, I think that's also why so many people that visit in, well, August, September, October will go to Halloween Horror Nights. So even if you're not a Universal fan, so say you don't like big coasters or simulators, so you don't tend to visit the parks. If you like horror and you like rock, Halloween Horror Nights is, and this is the problem. I've been once. I'm struggling to not make it a core part of my personality. I've become obsessed with Halloween Horror Nights, to the point where once I got home, I started following all the accounts that are like the speculation accounts. So they will work all year round trying to work out what franchises they think might be at the next year's events. And then as time goes on, because Universal do kind of put out little clues, and these people will pick up on them. And as you get closer, they go, "Oh no, that's not going to happen anymore. That's scrapped. We think this is coming in." I've become obsessed with following it. So now Disney and Halloween Horror Nights are my two fascinations. But yes, you're so right, Karen. Halloween Horror Nights is fantastic. It's just so much fun, isn't it? It's such a good night. And I think what's great is it is genuinely scary, but you come out of the houses with such an adrenaline rush and, like, laughing. So even though you've been scared, you still have that fun. It's not just terror. And the scare zones are amazing. This year's Halloween Horror Nights is just unbelievable with what they've announced so far for Orlando. I think it's like the best lineup they've ever had, which looks incredible. It's so good. Victoria said villains in Christmas, Nightmare Before Christmas, Overlay Land. They absolutely could do that, couldn't they? That would be really fun, because it totally makes sense to do that. And it also fits the fact that Nightmare Before Christmas is clearly a Christmas film. I don't know how that's still up for debate, because to me, I'm like, it couldn't be more obvious that it's a Christmas film. And that would be a really good way to put the debate to rest, by confirming it is a Christmas film. I absolutely love that. But yeah, I think people need to get on board. I know it's set in Halloween Town. I get that there are links to Halloween, but it's obvious. It's literally in the title. It's a Christmas film. I will die on this hill. Don't come for me. I have to say, the one other thing I would love to do one year, because I've never been to Disney World during the Christmas period, and that is so high on the bucket list. Actually, that's a great answer to Chris's question, which was, what is the one thing at Disney you're surprised you haven't done? Christmas at Disney World, 100%. I can't believe I haven't been yet. But something I would love to do is also hop over to Universal, because I don't know if you've seen The Grinch. Unreal. Whatever they're paying him needs to be about 10 times higher. Hysterical. And, like, even now, it's July, I still look at Grinch Halloween Christmas TikToks, because he's so funny. But yeah, like, I want to go to the Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party. Yeah, I was like gonna do a mashup then. Is it called? It is called the Very Merry Christmas. This is the concussion from when I banged my head, right? But also Jollywood. I really love the idea of Jollywood. I'd love to kind of experience it. I love that they had the Muppets Christmas Carol photo spot. I just think it looks like a really fun event. So I'd love to experience that. And I think that's the thing. Because I've never been for Christmas experience before, I'd like to experience everything that they have on offer for Christmas. And I also think it'll be interesting to visit Florida, where in the daytime it's nice and warm, but in the night you might need a layer. And I've never experienced Florida like that. And I think that would be a unique experience to have. So that would be absolutely incredible. That needs to happen. Has to happen. And yeah, I'm surprised I haven't done it, because it is very weird. But one of the questions I had written down, which I think would be good, is there a Disney experience that you think everyone should do? So, like, for me, I think doing any of the backstage tours is a really great way to see Disney in a different way. And I've loved, there's not been one backstage tour I've done that I haven't thought this was amazing and totally added to my experience. And like getting to peek behind the curtain, and also just the actual being able to physically go backstage is amazing. And like I say, what's nice, they're not all super expensive. So if you are looking for a more affordable option, they start from $30. And if you're looking for like the more in-depth, like much longer tours, like Keys to the Kingdom is one of my favorite things I've ever done in Magic Kingdom. And if you're a Disney nerd, if you love anything to do with like Magic Kingdom or Disney World, the history, it's so worthwhile. And also getting to go in the Utilidors, which just iconic, because you obviously hear about them, you see photos, but to actually be in them and experience it and get to look around was so good. And you get to go backstage on rides. And I also had the most incredible guide. Her name was Darlene, and her family had real deep connections to Walt Disney because her dad worked at Disneyland. I've said this story a million times, so I do apologize. But if you've never heard it before, it's a very good story. But her dad used to work on the Jungle Cruise, and he was a skipper. And when Jungle Cruise first started, it was an educational ride, so it was very factual. And what happened is, they were losing the audience a little bit. People were like zoning out. They're like, okay. So the skippers started adding in their jokes, and Walt Disney heard about this, and he was like, hmm. So he went on the ride, and the day that he went, it happened to be her dad as the skipper, and he was like, oh no, I've got to remember the proper script now because Walt Disney's on here. I can't mess this up. So he was going around hoping for the best, and when the ride came to an end and people were getting off, there was a family, and the kid said, oh, that was a good ride, but we've been on it, we don't need to go on it again. And Walt Disney heard this, and he wanted every ride that you could go on it over and over and over again. So he was like, I know that you've been doing a different version of the script, so I want you to take me around now and do your version. And then her dad was like, oh no, the big boss is in. I've changed his original vision. But he did it. He did the jokes, and then at the end, Walt Disney said to him, "That's it. This is your final day as a skipper on the Jungle Cruise." And he was like, "Oh no, I've been fired." And then he actually said, "I want you to become an Imagineer, and you're going to rewrite the script." And he worked on the script that we now know and love. So then he spent the rest of his career as an Imagineer, and I loved that story because it was also something I really admire about Walt Disney is he didn't care about titles and roles and hierarchy. If you were someone that had great ideas or vision, you could have been a custodial worker at Disney, and he would have gone, they've got a brilliant idea, they're going to be an Imagineer. There was none of that kind of like nonsense you get about, well, that person's too, low down the ladder and whatnot. So then she had amazing childhood because basically her dad worked at Disneyland as an Imagineer, and he'd bring her with him sometimes. And Walt Disney would be in the park, and she'd go around the park with Walt Disney. So she had all these incredible, deeply personal stories, and it added so much to the tour. And I was like, oh my God, it was so wonderful. But it was really funny because she was saying she met her husband at Disney because he also worked for Disney. She works for Disney. And I'd said to her, like, oh, like your children now, did they work at Disney? Has it been like multi-generational? And she was like, oh, they all work for Universal. And I was like, might have to disown them. They've ruined the tradition. But I love that they do still work in theme parks, so it still worked. But it's one of my favorite things I've ever done. I also loved the Walt's apartment tour in Disneyland, getting to go actually in his apartment where he and his family were, hearing all about them was so special. Really emotional, actually. Maybe it's because I cry at literally everything. But I was not expecting to feel emotional during it. And you also get amazing photo pass photographer who comes in, and you do poses that Walt Disney had done in the apartment, which was really cool. And then afterwards, I didn't know there's a patio. You get to go out on the patio, and because I was there at Christmas time, the Dapper Dans were below us singing Christmas songs whilst we were on Walt Disney's patios having drinks, and it was just amazing. So if you can do a backstage tour, definitely do it because it's so good. But yes, Karen, yeah, it was absolutely incredible. Like, what an amazing connection she has, and like, what an amazing thing. And she was also telling us stuff like, when they were building Haunted Mansion, And I don't know if it was Haunted Mansion actually they were building, but there was a ride they were building, and they were like, "We need cats." It might even been pirates, you know, and they needed cats. So her dad took in their cat, and their cat was the model. And so she took us to Haunted Mansion, um, and she was like, "There is a cat in this, and that's modelled on my cat." So she's like, "So now if I ever go on the ride, I get to see my cat, even though he's been dead decades." And I'm like, "How incredible! Like, what an amazing just thing that she's got like family memories, and like her physical family being in the parks, like with her dad's script, and like the cat being like memorialized forever." It's just amazing, and I was just think how awesome for her. And yeah, it was so wonderful to hear her history. And also, again, it's so fun. We got to go backstage in Phantom Manor. I'm trying to think what other rides we did. We did Jungle Cruise, Phantom Manor, and there was one other ride we did as well. So it's great because you also get to go backstage on rides and go in parts of the rides that other people don't get to go on. So totally worthwhile. And because you have to be 14 or over, because obviously you are like kind of uh pulling back the curtain on the magic. They don't want kids to go on it and then be like, oh, and also it's a 5 hour walking tour and it might be a bit much. But because of that, it's kind of like a more adult event, which is really good. And like everyone was so into Disney. And actually, there were a few people on the tour that had done it before. So that it's one of those things like I would absolutely do it again because obviously when you have different guides, you'll have different stories and experiences. So I definitely would do it again, even though some of it would you would probably know. Oh, and the best thing, I did the 9 o'clock tour. And when you do that, you go backstage, and it's when they're kind of setting up and prepping for the parade. I know the parade's not till way later, but they obviously, I suppose, like rehearse and make sure everything's working fine. So we got to go backstage whilst all the characters were being set up and the floats were being set up, and that was a really, really cool thing to see. So I would highly, highly recommend that. It's so fun. But yes, Victoria is so, so good. And yeah, her life story was just so remarkable. And like, you know, it's wild to think because she was telling us, like, you know, like the Main Street vehicles, like Walt would take her on it and be like, she'd be going down Main Street with Walt. And I just think, how amazing would that be? Um, and again, like, I don't know if anyone's watched it on Disney Plus, the Imagineering story. I am obsessed with that documentary. I've watched it multiple times, but it's so great to see the progression and history of the Disney parks in general. But also, when you hear the Imagineers talk about Walt Disney and that you know, even though he's been passed away a long time now, that deep love and respect they still have for him is so, so lovely. And I don't know if you saw Once Upon a Studio, which I genuinely think is probably the best original animation they've put out in so long. Obsessed. It was so good. Um, so yeah, anything to do with the history, I absolutely love, and particularly like Walt Disney himself, which is why I would love to eventually get to see the Walt animatronic. And I do think over time they'll probably tweak the face because I think they've probably listened to the feedback and they've gone, yeah, we're gonna need to. Because the thing is, like, so Victoria is a super, super talented artist, and I'm sure for you it's even more because you have such an eye for detail. So for you, you'd pick up on even more. But even someone like me, and I was like, the face is too round. It's like not long enough. And then particularly when some websites have done like a side by side comparison of a photo of Walt Disney and the animatronic, and you're like, I don't know how they've done this like this because it's not even like a little bit off. It's quite off. I think it will tweak over time. It will improve. It will improve. It'll be amazing. But this has been such a fun live stream. It's just so much fun to hang out and get to chat. So thank you so much. I never ever take it for granted that you know weekends are precious because it's our downtime. So I so so thankful that you get to choose to spend it with me at the end of the month. And also a massive thank you to everyone that's joined. And one of the other questions we did have was about meetup, and we're definitely going to do more meetups. As I said, there's been a lot of talk about maybe next year doing one in Disneyland Paris, which I think would be so much fun. But we're definitely going to do more in the UK as well. I was saying maybe next time, I'll probably stay the night before so that the train situation doesn't happen again because that was the most stressful and awful situation, and I feel so I'm not even kidding. Every day since I've thought about it multiple times and I feel so terrible. And I know I have no control over National Rail, but I was like, out of all of the days, how is it physically possible this is happening now? So I'll stay the night before so that won't happen. We will avoid that. And maybe it'll be super fun to do something indoors so that it doesn't matter what the weather's doing. And like a group activity or something like that. And like London, there's loads of things. You've got like the life-size Monopoly experience. You've got Phantom Peak, which is like a really immersive theatre experience. You've got the Crystal Maze experience. I don't know if in the long run they'll do something Disney, because that would be super fun. And then maybe like a visit to the Disney store and a meal, kind of like we did before. So there's definitely going to be plans for more future meetups. So if anyone can join, it would be absolutely incredible, because it was such a joy getting to meet people in person. I loved it, but I do deeply apologise for the train situation, because it was awful. So awful. Yes, that is absolutely wild, Victoria. That is such a good point. It's crazy to think that Disneyland is now older in age than Walt Disney ever was. And that is baffling, isn't it? Because it just doesn't seem possible. And like, think of all of the things that have happened since, and the evolution of the parks and the expansion of the parks around the world. And again, I think it's amazing because there is such a sense of Walt's stamp on all the parks that even though everyone apart from Disneyland was built after he passed away, you still have a real sense of Walt. But yeah, isn't that crazy? It's just absolutely ridiculous. But yes, thank you so much. It was so much fun. But thank you so much for your questions. It's been so lovely. And yes, Charlotte, we're definitely going to do more meetups. Disneyland Paris has to happen. Like, it's so popular that I think we have to plan this. It's going to be so good. And if they finally give us a date for Frozen, we'll make sure that it's after it's open. And yes, Karen, it has been so much fun. I've absolutely loved it. It's always such a highlight because it's so nice, like on social media and stuff. But here, getting to interact, the only thing that would be better is if you could actually physically interact and like talk. But it's so much fun. But yes, you're so right, Victoria. You have to laugh at the situation, and we got there eventually, which is so true. And everyone was so kind, and it was just such a joy to meet everyone afterwards because it'd been so stressful, and then to have like the most uplifting experience, and everyone be so lovely and warm, and we just had the best time together. And that's the thing, is it? Whenever you meet with a group of people, you never know what the dynamic is going to be like, and everyone gelled and just got on so well. But I'm sad that I missed out on the like getting to know you part at the beginning. So we would definitely have to do that because I've got the FOMO. I definitely missed out, so I definitely need to do that. But yeah, I think doing like an experience or something could be super fun. Someone's mentioned like escape room or something like that. I think that would be really good. And yeah, there's lots and lots of options, and there's even options like it doesn't have to be London. There could be other places. So I'm sure it'd be nice to kind of maybe start doing it like maybe quarterly. So maybe like 3 times a that's not quarterly. 4 times a year. So like seasonally, quarterly. I think that would be really fun, and then maybe like be able to move it around so that people that can't get to London maybe do one in like Manchester or something. And I think that would be so good. Hi, Kelly. It's lovely to see you. Thank you for joining. Yes, it'd be so amazing to come to the meetups. And yeah, it's just so nice, isn't it? When people get to meet other people that love Disney just as much. And because that's the thing, isn't it? Like in your everyday life, you might not encounter someone that does, but going and meeting people who just get as excited about things as you, and also like you could share your excitement about your trips with them. Like it's so good. And just yeah, we definitely have to do more because it was such a blast, and it would be such a joy for you to come along. I would absolutely love that. So yes, we'll make it happen. Just need to decide when we're doing the next one. But maybe the end of this year would be quite good. And it's that thing, because I was like, oh, maybe the end of next year or beginning of next year. But then I also know sometimes the beginning of the year, I like the idea of like it being nice and uplifting, but I know it can be like people have been super busy all over the Christmas period. They've had to spend a lot of money. So I'm like, oh, maybe that won't be the best time of year to be like, come on, guys, come and hang out and spend even more. We're going to the Disney store. If you haven't bankrupted yourself yet, it's happening now. So maybe the end of the year would be better, but not too close to the end of the year because again, I know everyone gets super busy. So yeah, we have to do it because it was such a joy. It was genuinely amazing, and I was so lucky when I was in Disney World last time that I got to meet up with people, and we just had the best time. And actually, like I said, Sarah came over from Germany for the meet and got to have a holiday in London as well, which was fantastic. It was so nice to meet up with her again. And then when I go to Disneyland Paris in November, I'm going to meet up with Peter and Lisa, who were also some of the people that I met up with in Disney World when we did the meet up out there. So it definitely has to happen. Like, got to do more, and particularly in the Disney parks, it's so nice as well, isn't it? Because we're better. Like, we've got everything we need there. We've got all of the amazing rides. We've got the characters. Could you imagine if we did like a virtual queue with all of us and we met Mickey, like a big group, Mickey meet and greet? That would be amazing. Iconic. It would be so good. You're so right, Zoe. January sales. That's the best time to hit the Disney store. Oh my god. Maybe we do need to do January. It'll be so perfect. But yeah, we definitely have to do another one because it was just iconic. It was so fun. So thank you so much for joining me. And then next month is the end of the month. Not next August, as in August next week. Let me try and explain this in a way that makes logical sense. It will be August next week, but the end of August is when our next meetup is. So the last Sunday of the month. And that's actually going to be an interesting one because there's something happening that I can't talk about that isn't Disney related, but kind of Disney related. That will be launching on the 1st of August. And we will do a little tie-in to that at the very end of the month, just as a little boost towards that. So there's going to be some interesting content coming out this month. I'm going to be doing my regular Wednesday videos all about Disney and doing some shorts. There's going to be a few extra videos in August that are related to this mystery thing. So all will be revealed on the 1st of August. Yeah, so next month I think it'll be a super interesting and fun live stream. And if there is a topic you would like it to be around, do let me know. But August, I think, is going to be a super fun month. Like I said earlier, there's going to be this surprise thing on the 1st of August that's Disney but not Disney. But hopefully you'll still find it enjoyable. And some other amazing things coming out in August. So do keep your eyes and ears peeled. And yeah, I just can't wait. It's going to be so much fun. But thank you so much for joining me. What a joy. What a joy. It's been fantastic. I hope you have a lovely rest of your evening. I hope you have a lovely rest of your July. I literally can't believe it's August at the end of the week. Like, how is that possible? What's going on? But I hope you have a lovely time, and until next time, I hope you have a most magical day. I never say that at the end of the live stream. Why don't I do that? We need to do it. So we're gonna carry on saying it. Until next time, have a most magical day. See you soon, guys. Thank you so much. See you again. See you next month, hopefully. Speak to you in between. Come hang out on Instagram. See you soon.